Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, kahit anong lane, we become the monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Look at us, to the top, no ifs, no buts, winning any game para to sa PINAS. Di mo matitinag aming boses sa new level. Nasa kalye man o mobile, you know I become a legend. Listen, open fire, we unite, we winners. But with pressure, like diamonds are made of. Switching the lane na parang gera, HP racing may reseta. But kakatang buhat ni Hilda, full dong SS parang Laila. Susundan ko ang wakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y malakas. Para sa Pinas, nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas. Para sa Pinas, nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Pag nagsama-sama, just imagine what we can achieve. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Giving 100 on my all, cause we just cannot be defeated. We are unstoppable, immune and invulnerable. Ready ang equipment, lahat frozen, mala, crowd control. Pakita on the jab, east to the southeast. Taas ang watawat, proud and loud, cause every enemy we devour. Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y malakas. Para sa Pinas, nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas. Para sa Pinas, nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, kahit anong the monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we the stars.
The 16th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors: Infinix, the MPL official tournament phone. Infinite plays, infinite wins. Victories you can count on. Smart, the simply reliable telco partner of the MPL. BPI, the official bank partner of MPL Philippines. Mas magandang bukas, buksan sa BPI. Our partner in esports, Clear Men. Power up your dander-free scalp. Supercharge with Clear.
And Nor. Pang-marinade, panggisa at pampasarap, basta may Nor liquid seasoning, kaya mong iluto yan.
Don't miss any MPL action by following our official Facebook and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Follow MPL PH on TikTok for more content. Experience the lakas ng Pinas of MPL PH Season 16 action live at Green Sun Hotel. Grab your tickets now via the official MPL PH website. MPL Philippines is monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusements Board.
Tingin ko na balik na nila yung gigil ulit nila eh.
As they break the streak of ONIC Philippines and seize the win.
Paparating namin na laban, talagang confident pa rin kami. Walang magbabago. Hindi kami magpapadala sa pressure.
The young guns will be playing against the old guards of MPL.
Complete reset for Team Falcons.
Tatlong sunod na talo na kami. Kaya kailangan namin maibalik yung confidence namin. Tsaka pag-usapan namin ng maigi kung ano yung mga dapat namin gawin talaga.
galingan lang natin, lalo na Dom. Dati magkakampi lang tayo ngayon, magkalaban lang tayo.
Good luck sa laban natin. Sana mabigyan natin ng magandang laban yung mga fans.
Have gone too fast para sa ating lahat. Pero excited na rin ako sa paparating na week.
Maligayang pagbabalik sa MPL Arena Superfans. Ako, si Hans Galeria.
And this is your very own Odin. Welcome to MPL Arena.
And in the past 2 weeks, nakakita tayo ng napakaraming mga laban at nagpakitang gilas ang 8 nating mga koponan.
Tama ka dyan, Hans. Walang pagkakamali sa mga sinabi mo dahil nga the past few weeks ay nagpakita ng kani-kanilang mga lakas ang ating mga rookies. Gayun din, ang mga matches ay hindi natin mai-predict kung ano magiging resulta.
You know, that begs me the question. The question is, may ipapakita pa kaya silang bago? Lalo na't ang isa sa mga laban na makikita natin ngayong araw ay sa pagitan ng ONIC Philippines at Team Falcons. May mga baon kaya tong mga to?
Excited tayong malaman lahat ng yan at meron din na tapatan na magaganap sa pagitan ng Twisted Minds at Aurora Gaming. Meron na naman kayang plot twist na dala si Coach Bon?
Nako, Odin, isa lang ang sagot ko para dyan dahil ito na ang oras para ipakita at ibigay na natin to sa ating mga casters dahil oras na para saksiyan ng Lakas ng Pinas!
Welcome everybody, it's Friday here and we're about to kick off another week. It's week 3 of the MPL Philippines Season 16. It's us, the Wee Bear Bros. It's me, Naisu, Leo, and Renmar. We got some, it's a nice little sandwich going on here, man.
Yeah, yellow. I wish we talked about it that I should wear a white inner because now I feel left out. So,
Hey.
But okay, yeah, you are standing out and I love it.
Oh yeah, we're all, I get it. That's great.
So you reacted and you didn't get it? Thanks, man.
Now I get it, you know, and this is for you guys, of course, at home. You can also be equipped with not only white shirts like us and looking good in the suits, but also with an all-day 120 FPS system. The next-gen Infinix GT30 Pro is the new official tournament phone, powering the next season of the MPL Philippines. Grab it while you guys can. I've been seeing more Infinix GT Pros popping up. 30 Pros.
Everybody's playing with it.
They are. And also, if you guys want to and get a chance to join in the raffle, you want to play in a raffle, we have the BPI Vibe app. If you download and sign up for Vibe, you'll get 50 raffle entries. Now, what could those entries be here?
All right, last month, 200 lucky winners received 1,250 MOBB diamonds each. This month, we've raised the amount to potentially win 50K dias.
That's a lot of diamonds. So if you want to join that, saw that QR code, hopefully you did. Now there it is again. We're just testing you there. Download and sign up for the Vibe. Now begin an epic tomorrow with Vibe by BPI.
Hey guys, that's how you beat inflation, man.
How?
From 1250 to 50,000.
Oh, yes.
You just, you know, that's
Bring it up.
bringing the bar further. And again, as we open up week 3 here, I think a lot has happened the past couple weeks already here for the MPL Philippines. We're going to take a look at the Infinix standings. Of course, Twisted Minds, who we're about to watch, is still on top.
Even after they lost to the hands of the defending champions, Team Liquid, PH, to close off week 2, they're still on top. And their next opponent here is smack dab in the middle. So you still can't say, I'll say it now, hands down, this is still one of the most interesting seasons of MPL Philippines to date.
Yeah, that's unanimous. I mean, look at my Falcons. Usually flying high, but they're down there alongside the Bees. That hurts to see.
A Falcon below a Bee.
Yeah, but again, as we discussed last season, in case you missed it, Bees do actually fly higher than Falcons. Anyways,
They do?
Yes, they do. So if you missed out on this season and you're just hopping in now and you're wondering, oh, look at RORA, they're in the middle of the standings. What's happening with them? No, they are coming off of prolific wins in the past 2 weeks. Well, no, since last week. So Twisted Minds have their work cut up for them.
And that's our first match for today here. It's RORA versus Twisted Minds. I think we're going to see exactly what Twisted Minds are able to do against a team like RORA.
And that is a very storied matchup. Alongside tonight's closer, ONIC PH, the M6 World Champions, facing off against Falcons PH, who everybody knows has remnants of the M5 World Championship winning lineup. They're coming from 2 different ends of burnout. More on that later.
Yeah, again, I think it's really apparent for anybody that's been watching our games, of course, past couple weeks, there's been a lot of talk online, specifically even about the Falcons and what maybe they could do. But I feel like the same thing happened in a sense with ONIC even last season, where they struggled a little bit in the first half. But, you know, we have to go ahead and transition now to this matchup here. First off, it's RORA versus TWIS. You see UA and Kaloy here. And leading into this is, again, because our focus this whole season has been on the different eras. You know, we've had some really good graphics, of course, showing the eras of the league throughout our time here. Now, this time, week 3 is really about guiding the next era, going into that phase here and throwing it back. Actually, we're going to be throwing it back a little bit to the Brawl area. We hinted on the Brawl era last week, but what does that mean for us here for this matchup?
Well, the Brawl era, Season 1, Season 3, when admittedly the players would say it was all just about how well can you press buttons in MLBB. The more mechanical you are, the stronger you are, going for your comfort picks. That is our Brawl era. Coach Eson and Coach Bonchan have played in that era alongside Coach Dexstar.
They started as early as Season 1. Eson played under Digital Devils Pro, and then the season after 1 under Signal Ultra when they got absorbed. Bonchan and Dexstar, though, started out in the same squad, S16 Balance in Season 2, and they've been together for as long as anybody remembers until they split after Blacklist left the league, and now they're fighting each other here tonight.
Let me ask you guys something here, because for these coaches, they used, you know, being players before, the impact that they might have on the Rising Stars now and everything else. And I know you two have also spent some time coaching. What's the biggest factor of having that experience as maybe a player transitions to coaching, and maybe even a way like the effect a coach can have on the players?
All right, so I came from a coaching background that I wasn't a pro player beforehand. And based off of the talks I've had with other coaches with pro player backgrounds, it's easier to convince your players that, hey, this actually works if you try it out. As difficult as it is to hear for the players who didn't, for the coaches who didn't come from the background of players, you know, players will be more willing to listen to dudes who experienced the same battlefield that they did. Yes, it might have been a long era since then, but then at this point, I mean, they went through it.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future, when Edward and some of these players that came from under Coach Bonchan eventually become coaches, I think that would be a bright future. I think that would be something that any player would like to have.
And right now, for our watch party folks out there, you can shout out to all you guys watching RORA sa Street Kohi. Maginhawa. Is that how you say that? Maginhawa.
You got it right.
Yeah. Maginhawa. There's a lot of good places to eat there, I think. Is that the right area?
No, that's the street.
Okay, I'm thinking right. And but yeah, so those are the thoughts here, the impacts of what a coach or even the players can get from each other. And I think that's a big thing too for the coaches. It's more so of like that credibility that they have to the players, and it's very apparent. You know, we got a glimpse there of Coach Bonchan, of course. We had Edward over there, and when he came into the league, and now Coach Bonchan is handling a few other new rising stars who have already made a big impact. Now, you guys can help us make a big impact. We got a question for you guys, the community out there. Who is the best player turned coach? We got 4 responses. Is it A, Dexstar, B, Eson, C, Bonchan, or D, Hayes? What do you guys think about this one, Leo?
I think just on paper, I'm going to say Bonchan. He's just, you know what? I'll say now. I think he's a better coach than he ever was a player. This man was poised to be a coach even while he was wearing the jersey. So you can tell that as soon as he decided to take that role, he was never going to look back, and until today, he carries that gravitas with him.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to be on the same boat as you for that one, because out of all the 3 names there, I think for even the general community, the side of our community that isn't so deep in the lore, all of them will probably just gravitate towards Coach Bonchan, because Dexstar, Eson, and Hayes are more akin to that of analysts, the technical masterminds, the analytical numbers guys. When it comes to Coach Bonchan, everyone just says, yeah, he's the coach.
I would agree. So we got 3 bears in one boat right now, because I think same thing. I didn't get a chance to really watch Bonchan play, but I know that even coming into the league or watching it as a fan first, he was one of the first names that you see, and then you learn about the impact that he had there, and you still see him being very impactful here. So before our matchup, we got to welcome the teams out to the stage to get ready for this. Let's go ahead and welcome them out.
Will the light shine brighter in week 3 for the Northern Lights? It's Edward, Demon Kite, Yue, Light, and Domin Kite seize the win. It's Aurora! Rookies of the season who are looking to defeat another set of veterans. It's Lansu, MP the King, Sean, Kaloy, and Nosha. Twisting the game, it's Twisted Minds! To oversee and uphold the tournament's integrity, guiding us through this match are our marshals, Juven, Chico, JJ, and Patrick. Joined by the two teams are their coaches, Coach Master the Basics for Aurora and Coach Bonchan for Twisted Minds. Rora's Minds, this is the matchup! Let me hear you scream!
And there we have it, our teams on the stage ready to go. Leo, take us through Aurora.
Aurora have found their stride. They're shining the brightest they ever have in Season 16. They've come from wins off of ONIC PH, off of Team Liquid PH, and here against the new bloods in the league, I'm pretty sure there's a fire lit underneath Aurora.
They seem to be the case, especially with some of the surprising matches that we've seen the past couple of weeks from them. And across them, this is even the more surprise for a lot of our community out there, and even for us here on desk. Redmar, what do you think of Twisted Minds?
I think they are still one of the teams to watch out for, and my personal plot twist of the season. They started off the season sweeping my Falcons, as hurtful as it is. They took down AP Brendan and Omega in 3 games, but then they faced the harsh reality check of going up against the defending MPL PH and MSC champions in Team Liquid. I feel like, though, you don't have to worry too much, Twisted Minds. You already shown you can tangle with the best of them. Just really got to iron out the drafting and the in-game execution when you're not winning early on.
Yeah, I think even when you look at the head-to-head here, too, it's, again, they've brought in a little bit of a bigger hero pool to table. Honestly, that's expected, especially with Bonchan there, but they are the team that even last season, when it was a different iteration of Twisted Minds, it was a team that you always got to look forward to the draft. You know, that was something where, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about drafting patterns, certain priority picks and everything else, and that seems to be the case where the strength case, I would say, for Twisted Minds, but then the execution on top of it is what is really surprising from them.
Oddly enough, I think it's execution that they're good at. They just have to come into this match with more preparation, and I think this is a good time to checkpoint that level of their play. Because if they don't, then they're going to get in trouble in the later half of the season.
Yeah. Well, let's see. They've got a smart ping test here. Let's see our players get ready for the match.
Mosh, mosh. Ganda talaga ng boses mo, di? Umidigas yung kama ko. Minasan, konbanwa. Kahit kun daijubu. Minasan, gambare. Di yung pa rin malalam pag good afternoon. Sama-sama. Sama-sama. Ano yung tulong-tulong? Ohayo gozaimasu. Minasan, gambare. Bara-bara-ru, bailaw, tu bailaw. Ay, hello mga ka-twisted dyan. Sana sa community group namin. Shoutout sa pamilya ko. Mahal na mahal kayo. Shoutout sa mga kampi kong may sakit lahat. Pag natalo kami yun, guys, gawa may sakit kami lahat. Bara-bara-ru, bailaw. Shoutout sa mga tropa ko tsaka sa mga nanonood sa venue. Okay, sila Edward, idol. Shoutout sa mga pamilya rin ni Nosha. Sabi ni Nosha sa mic check, kaya daw si Doming sa kanya. Oy, ano? Bubugbugin niya daw, may presa niya sa lane, sabi sa mic. Hindi lang na-check. Tapos hindi niya rin daw sinasampa mga kakalane niya. Kahit sa viewers ng Aurora, shoutout. Kailan magsisimula yung mic check? Kailan magsisimula? Simula na ngayon? Nahiya na ako.
Mosh, mosh! I like the smart ping test that we get there again to go ahead and prepare for the match. Yeah, there was a whole lot being said there. I feel like from Sean. I don't know what he was saying. Was he singing?
I feel like he was just hyping himself up.
He was a little bit everywhere.
He was everywhere. He was singing too, while Yue showed off that he is on the way to becoming bilingual.
He is. Right now, we are going to get ready for this matchup. Before that, we got to know what our Howl Man thinks. Mr. Wolf, we're going to throw it over to you for the infinite keys to victory. Let us know what the teams have to do to win the matchup here.
Welcome to The Howl. This is Wolf bringing you the Infinix keys to victory. Ang ating bakbakan yan is RORA versus Twisted Minds. But before that, ba't hindi natin pinag-usapan isa naman talagang hot topic which is about the gold laners. Alam nyo ba na among of all the 4 gold laners na maglalaro ngayong araw, it's actually Nosha at Doming Kite na pinakamaganda ang stat line pagdating sa gold at the start of the match. In fact, ang average gold difference nila sa kanilang mga tapat ay 318 pabor kay Nosha at 447 naman pabor kay Doming Kite. Kung ikukumpara natin yan kay Kelra at Super Marco na negative para sa kanila ang gold start, mukhang magandang gold lane na battle ang maabangan natin sa game number 1, sa match number 1. And now, going for the keys to victory. Para sa RORA, bigyan nila si Yue ng isang winning matchup at siya talaga mag-take over ng game. Nakita natin laban sa TLPH at pati na rin sa ONIC Philippines nung ginuha ng Aurora ang tipo mga Kimi or Eve sa mga moments na talagang sakto siya sa draft at talagang napapahirapan yung kalaban, dun talaga nagte-take over ng game. Ito si Yue. At in relation to that, kapag na-utilize at na-maximize sila ang tulong ni Demon Kite sa pagtulong sa pre-turtle setup katulad ng pag-clear ng wave or pag-poke na mga nakatapat, forcing flickers sa mga nakatapat nilang mid laners, dun napapaganda para sa RORA ang sitwasyon. Now for Twisted Minds, what they have to do is to watch out for RORA's clean, easy draft style. It's noticeable na nagbago yung draft style ng RORA sa ating week number 2 at ang ginawa lang nila ay mas lumalamang lang sila talaga sa mga lanes at mas pinapadali ang laban para sa kanila. They also have to force a 50-50 during the neutral objective team fights. In simple words, kailangan lang nila talaga makipag-retrihan. Ipwersa nila yon. Kung sakaling makukuha nila malinis ng turtle, then well and good. Pero kung hindi, kailangan nilang pwersahin at pwede sila manalo laban sa RORA. Yan po ang ating abangan. Let's head it straight into the draft.
Thank you, Wolf. That's the Howl right there, the Infix keys to victory. Now, I noticed one of the keys to victory there too, specifically for RORA here, Leo, was give UA one of those matchups that can win them the lane. The mid lane has developed a little bit more. Who's that going to be for UA though this time around?
Last week, they closed off by taking a victory against ONIC PH Game 3. It was an Eve versus a Jushin. Jushin is still one of the most in-demand heroes, but clearly the Eve wins in range. If Yue can get his hands on a hero that clearly beats out the opposition in a fundamental meaning, whether it be CC, utility, range, burst, then Sean should be in trouble. Twisted Minds should have trouble roaming with that duo, that trio in mid.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that. Even more alongside the picks of Yue, you're going to have to take out some of the best picks of Light. The best picks of RORA ever since RORA became a team in MPL Philippines. Take away the high loss at this point. Honestly, I think it needs to be checked by Twisted Minds. They look so comfortable playing it. The moment Yue sees that he's paired up with a high loss, even if he ends up with a mid laner that doesn't have a lot of range, if he gets his hands on the Kimi, then heck yeah, he's going to be so happy to bully the lane.
Yeah, I think part of that too is always when we look at the mid laners, like in this head-to-head, it's where they allow the early game to go, because you know, we spent so much time talking about mid lane trio for a while, especially the junglers, and that seems to be where the main focus is on when we get to the initial phase of the draft. But then the mid lane impact, I feel like, has developed in a good place where, yes, we still see a lot of Farsa, yes, we still see, you know, a lot of some of the, like the Kimmys and the other mages that pop up, but there's been room now for breathing room, I feel like, in the mid lane, and that's something I've been asking for a while now. It's been nice to see some changes there too, but I think ultimately Sean has really proved himself over the course of the past couple of weeks up against Yue, who Yue I always feel like has one of those pocket picks. He's one of those mid lane players that, you know, this last season was the Sicilian, I think. He was like one of the few people that brought that hero and made it work. 14. Yeah, and it made it work. So we're going to be focusing on the mid lane, what they decide to do, but also, again, it starts really with these drafting patterns here. We jab into the draft for game number 1. Some of the bands already out. We do have Twisted on that blue side, RORA here on the red. Wow. I didn't know. Is that right? They have a 0% win rate on blue?
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm actually wondering if that's...
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yep.
I mean, if it's there, it's there.
This was exacerbated by the fact that they went to get Liquid that week.
Yeah, it's true.
And they lost twice on red.
That's right.
While Aurora, or rather, yeah, so they were playing red, then they still lost. That helped the fact. But Aurora chose red this time.
Yeah.
So they're letting Twisted Minds make mistakes.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call, because what I like about Aurora going to the red side is, again, the pick of Harith, high loss, sudden Harith high loss priorities are going to be active for them. Twisted Minds decides to play in such a way where Fanny, very bannable now in the first phase blue side, considering that you are up against Demon Kite. Aurora is not afraid to pick the Fanny. Lapu Lapu, you take that away from Edward 100%, and then now you're going to take away the Ju Sin because, again, that's one of the favorite picks of you in the center of the map. Now, if you're Twisted, you're open with so many options. Lance, YSS, CC. CC would be the surprising pick, considering that now Aurora are going to have to really think twice about what they give Edward, and it might actually lessen his presence in the map, unless if they decide to go for something Hilda that can go fast. So Aurora says, you know what, we're starting to see that, so we'll take the CC out. So now you're going to have to play a different matchup in the EXP. You're going to be looking at the Ediths, Phovius, and Glues of the world. So Twisted, maybe Lancelot would be the good first pick here, considering that it is the best assassin right now in the meta.
There it is. Picked up first, so this will most likely be, does RORA just eventually take the YSS then? They build up from that. Do they get a XP in a mid here? Maybe a Farsa and, I don't know, Phovius? If they want to go that route?
I wouldn't mind actually if they pick up the Phovius right away, but then the glue is going to be picked up early on. As we mentioned, the Harith earlier will get showed up, and it's not going to be the high loss paired with it. They will get the Baksha. Swervable, you can put this in the jungle or the roam.
Okay, I like it. Harith, we were just talking about this leading into this. So Harith is going to be locked in early, which Domikite's been doing really good. And I like that too, because even one of the keys to victory there was to go ahead and allow Demon Kite to play into those first objectives, that first turtle. The Baksha, if it is put in the jungle in the hands of Demon Kite, then you do well.
Not once this season has Demon Kite played Baksha though. So this is something that's new for Aurora, even in Season 16. But also checking in, Light hasn't played it either. So it's the first time the whole team has played this hero. And the answer by Twisted Minds, clean. Their damage is safe. This is it.
Yep. Damage profile checked out. Strong bits of burst through abilities. Undefeated is Sean in the Kagura, while the Granger for Kaloy, I'm going to have to double check his win rate there. Should be a healthy record considering that they've been having a great season so far.
Yep.
No, 50-50. That's fine. That's not bad at all. So, RORA, now let's see if they're going to pair up this Baksha with a Kimi at the center of the map, or they are going to go for range, considering that they're up against the Kagura. Again, you pick the Harith. RORA know that the Kagura is coming out, so maybe they're going to pair it up with Burst. Maybe they'll just go for the Farsa, go for that range, or they can show the Eve that we saw. However, are they going to go into the second phase with a flex?
My own path.
They will. 2 flexes, actually. Arlot, Baksha, you still really don't know who's going to the jungle roam EXP.
But if they ban the Phovius, then they will be telegraphing it going into the EXP.
Yes.
Yep, and here's a little message from about Edward. Young Twisted Minds. Everybody was surprised. Man, their performance. They were former MDL champions. Pantai. They're all like close together, like they all have synergy.
Everyone's equal.
Yeah, everyone's equal. That's Edward on Twisted Minds.
Getting better and better with the translation every season. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I was about to read it in Tagalog. Yeah, there's a Phovius. I almost expect Twisted Minds also to ban out an Eve, perhaps. Because I think the Eve would actually work really well with these first 3 picks that RORA has.
Yep, none of them interrupt the Eve.
Yeah. 100%. You take away Eve. I wouldn't even be so mad if they just go ahead and ban out the Eve and Farsa, because if you have those long-range mid laners, Arlot and Baksha will protect them so well. You will not be able to get close to that with a Zaman Force under your feet as well. So that means they might be stuck with a Kimi. I like how Twisted Minds also acknowledged after what happened to them last week against Team Liquid, they decide, you know what, let's not forget about Matilda. So they take away the Matilda, respecting the possibility that this is going to be a jungle Baksha for the hands of Demon Kite, which if they do go down that route, it will be surprising. First time played this season, it does tick one of the main keys to victory, which was utilize and maximize Demon Kite in pre-turtle setups. The hero in the jungle that best does that is Fredrin. He's not here right now. Baksha is the second best.
Yeah, second best for Baksha. And part of that too is, again, I'm a little worried about the Arlot, man. There's the glue ban. Because the Arlot, so far, it's still one of those heroes where you're trying to set things up. You are that setting up guy to use that final slash and everything else. Which, obviously, if that's going to be the case, then it goes in the hands of Edward. Then you can be reliant on Mr. Consistent. But it's still one of those things where if you get too far behind or you get outscaled, then you're just a kind of a sitting duck there. A Kimi gets brought up. So I think this is what you're alluding to earlier on, Redmar.
Yeah, Arlot, Baksha, Kimi, Harith, and then they're just going to wrap it up with I would consider... I think Twisted Minds...
Might they Groxa?
Grok for RORA, yes. Grok for RORA actually would round out their draft incredibly well. Twisted Minds is EXP, they might be stuck with something like, what, an Edith? But then with their damage profile, you need someone who's just solid. You can't go Hilda because he's not tanky.
It's weird that Hylos has gone totally ignored.
Sand rises.
And Gatot too. Khalid shows up. Is this a debut?
I think it is a debut pick
for the season, yeah?
The season? It should be, yeah. I don't recall seeing any Khalid so far. Give me a sec.
Me either.
Yeah, it's a debut for Khalid this season. And of course, I tend to forget this about Twisted Minds. That is the signature EXP laner pick for Lansu. So, yeah, when there's something that you cannot recall what he can pick off, just go Uranus. Oh, RORA taking a page out of Team Liquid's book. They go for the chip. Very magic damage heavy. It's their profile. But considering that they're up against Khalid, Uranus, I think the Kagura is just going to be the biggest problem for, or one of the biggest answers you can toss at a shortcut ulti 5-man surprise coming out from RORA. But right now I'm leaning a little bit more towards the RORA draft. The lack of crowd control on the side of Twisted hurts.
And they have no response to the shortcut. Literally, anybody who gets targeted will most likely die.
Yeah, because what's going to be coming through there is not going to be pretty to deal with. So you can see here from our glimpse the index for both the lineups. You guys in the chat can let us know which you think has the better draft for game 1. I'm going to have to go ahead and lean towards RORA too. I think after seeing the chip performance last week, and then with this kind of lineup, it gives you a lot of room to work with, a lot of wiggle room to work with, especially around the objectives. So we'll see. We'll see if it ends up pulling through. Will it be RORA to go ahead and get game 1, or will it be Twisted Minds? Drafts are in place. We're jumping into the land of Dawn here. Let's find out. And also, again, we have to focus in on this Khalid. Now that it's the first time we get to go ahead and see it in this season, is it still as valuable as we've seen in previous seasons, especially in the hands of Kaloy here?
What I like about the Khalid is that he's just so dependable in terms of being able to harass in the early game. But now that you're up against a chip and the Kimi at the center of the map, he might have to think twice a little bit and really try to find the right timings. So far, that was the right timing. You and Light took a lot of damage at the center. Khalid and Kagura gives a lot of priority.
Oh, Demon Kite engaging on the Kaloy, knows that his tools have already been used up at level 1. Now a fight breaks out. Light caught out, forced to use the flicker. MP wants to end it. Light does survive.
Light survives. Who gets that? Okay, they get the Lithuander for RORA. But yeah, that's just kind of showing, man, they're even up top, Edward dealing with Lansu, and like you said, he's done work on this Uranus before, so we'll see how that plays out. Light doesn't have a flicker.
He really has to be careful here. Needs to find his right timing. Look at Kaloy now. The pressure of the Khalid.
Kaloy smells blood. Can Light get out of here? Does not get the recall. Kaloy takes him down. Draws for his blood. Dominic might follow up. Kaloy doesn't have the sandwalk to engage. Aurora reeling already.
Good read by Kaloy, and I feel like you can hear the comms from Nosh. I feel like someone's in the shrub, man. I know the Harith is in here. Maybe the chip's in there too. Right call there.
It was like, Domikite, don't come here.
It's like, no, you just told them where I am, bro.
Yeah, a little slow-mo right there, but up top, just nothing too much. Again, that almost would have been a case where you probably shouldn't have seen much of a first blood with these kind of lineups, but already is. It's a little advantage for Twisted Minds. The first turtle's up though. Demon Kite will hold this up front. And this is the thing we expect, especially with the Baksha. So the rest of the team's going to have to make their way here. Edward does have a final slash flicker available.
Turtle down to a quarter of its health. Twisted Minds struggling to get some ground. They do get the push in. Envy the King does not secure. Demon Kite gets it. Down goes Edward. And that's a lot of damage right there. The place sans by Demon Kite. Where's the damage? Light might just bite it. Once more. Lansu goes first. The Baksha marks unable to heal him up. MP falls as well. One more. Kaloy flickers away. 2 kills for RORA.
Shortcut! That's exactly what we were talking about leading into this with this composition.
Yeah, for a moment there I thought that maybe Demon Kite used a shield unity a little bit too early, but then he was able to win out the Retro battle, so I'm not going to complain. Everything in Twisted though, they had the right answer. It's just that, yeah, once that chip hits level 4, you're going to realize, wait, our lineup isn't built for this. We can try to out-damage them, but even early on, Chip does have self-sustain. He does have good shielding that he can provide himself, and you saw that. You thought Light was down? Nope. Suddenly that shield got up, and then Twisted Minds couldn't get a good trade.
Oh, they're not done. They're gonna keep going. Kaloy gets on. Retribution by Demon Kite. That's still damage reduction underneath tier 1 in mid.
Yeah, very close there. Nice little sidestep to keep Kaloy alive, but what RORA will do is now go ahead and put pressure on this side of the jungle, maybe try to make a play. That's one of the great things about the Baksha is that your rotation is great and pretty quick. Also, buy your tickets now. We've got a super fan early Pamasco promo. If you guys want to know what Pamasco is, that's, what is it, Christmas? Holidays?
The holiday spirit.
Holiday
Christmas
spirit.
treat.
Yeah, it's a treat. There we go. It's a holiday season treat.
Holiday, because by the way, if you were wondering, Christmas season basically starts in September in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Some people might be confused.
Goes up until February.
Yeah. Halloween is usually just a little interlude where things get weird for a bit.
Yeah.
And then it's back to
Christmas music.
Christmas. And snow, even though it doesn't snow in Southeast Asia. So for Twisted, they really have to find a way to make MP the King online here, because with Demon Kite and Light already rushing Dreadnought armors, that's already majority of the damage done in the early game just taken out. So even more so, Twisted Minds are going to find it very difficult to fight. Lansu needs to join the fights even more. That's why he's here for the turtle, to dish out a little bit more magic damage and maximize the damage that Sean can deal. It won't be a lot, but it might just be enough. Light flicker.
Shortcut on to Nosha. Nosha gets caught with a final slash. Down he goes. Edward gets the kill. And they're not done. Going for the police stop. Maybe the king gets his Phantom. He gets cancelled. Executed himself. Kaloy gets the jump in, but they're taking too much damage from the turret. The punish coming in. Lansu takes out Light. Kaloy folds by Demon Kite. Lansu falls. And it's just buddies underneath this turret. 4 left standing for Aurora.
Forget the turret. We don't care, says RORA, as they fight all of that under the tier 1.
That was one of the most beautiful tower juggles I have seen. Twisted Minds, at this point, they're going to have to accept they're really going to be playing for the mid to the late game here. What is your damage profile to just a bunch of beefy bodies who know how to juggle turrets? Edward with a beautiful final slash coming out of that shortcut as well. I was surprised that Light committed his flicker, but, well, it was well timed. Immediately that shortcut caught 2. It forced Twisted Minds to react. Yes, RORA were sandwiched, but again, they're just too tanky, and Twisted Minds have already lost the early game.
Yeah, interesting too. Like, it's all just set up here from Edward. You can see he just gets the Oracle. He had a little bit of the Fury Hammer earlier on, but it's mainly that setup with the final slash and utilizing the shortcut. That's where, again, we kind of forget how valuable the shortcut can be from Chips, because he just kind of went away from the meta for a while. There was this extended period of time and he started to creep back up into here.
Yep.
And the plays that you can make under turrets, especially in this portion of the game, are utilized because of you have that shortcut and it works well. So just great usage there.
MP is impoverished right now. Even against Edward, he can't catch a break.
That's going to be going on for a while. I wonder where Twisted Minds will be able to find an angle. It's really going to have to come through an air, but Light, perfect!
Oh, no. Shortcut into the orange side. Nosha gets caught out. Yue takes him down. Lansu put down to 1/8 of his health. Demon Kite, if he had his way, could have taken down Lansu. He's not done. They keep on going, converting into this tier 1 in mid.
Oh, Demon Kite just standing there, just rolling around.
Another Phantom Execution canceled out. Final slash displaces Kaloy. Enough damage to take down the Khalid. Edward looking to back out. Flicker through. Light flickering in to try and stop Twisted Minds for momentum. Demon Kite going for the steal. Grand Theft Purple attempt. Unsuccessful. Or is it? Demon Kite gets it!
He actually got it. Oftentimes I thought the Retribution actually hit the Uranus, but then I think there was just a little bit of burn there. Well, Demon Kite was able to win it. That's what's important.
Guilty.
Yeah, Nosha. Now with the Skypiercer at this point, it's gonna have to... That's going to be their hope of making a comeback if they can chain together some more kills through that Granger. But exactly as we pointed out, why I really thought that the Kimmy would come out here for Aurora as that 3rd pick, that 4th pick eventually, because it just meshes so well with a lineup that has a Baksha, that has a Harith. You scale so quickly, and then the front line that you have the Arlot and the Chip.
Light? Is he playing Patsy? Where's he going? Oh, does not get cornered. Yue to the rescue.
I just realized how scary it is to have someone like Light, the dude who is historically known for finding those really weird gank angles that really catches his opponents off guard, that he has a chip in his hands that he can bring the rest of his team with him. Terrifying.
And the Y walk basically takes the weights off of him to find those angles. He's like Rock Lee taking out the weights.
Yeah.
Takes off the weights and just brings the whole team with him too. That's what, and you were talking about Nasha specifically. Edward.
Oh, that's a Reiki Sandstorm committed. Edward's still alive. Gets that vengeance on the two. In comes Light. Edward has already fallen. A shortcut brings in the rest of Aurora. Kaloy put down to 1/8 of his health. Dominic, not enough damage. Gets to retreat underneath that inhibitor.
Okay, so, and he'll go back up. Dominic will go back up to push in at that tier 2. But yeah, Edward might have been able to buy a little bit more time if he had some more defense items. You can see, again, he's only got that Oracle, really, but still was just kind of caught down there on that bottom side of the map. And now RORA wants to go ahead and continue to put pressure on the map before this next Lord comes up, or the first Lord comes up in 30. They're holding on to a nice 5k gold lead, though. And you can see that. There's the brute force that gets picked up now by Edward.
Yeah, Twisted Minds do not have the items at all yet to really get a winning fight. Full build anti-Karasis now for the chip and the Baksha. And the skill-based physical damage that Twisted Minds has a lot of is still going to be nerfed.
Yeah.
Even Kaloy's damage isn't going to be felt as much.
Dominic dropping the Zaman Force, pushes Lanzu out of defending range. They're going to have to concede this tier 2.
Fight for it. I don't know if I can look for more.
Edward finds a 2-man final slash. Mini heart attack for Twisted Minds.
Edward makes this Arlott look so smooth. He's playing it like a Lancelot right now.
Feels like it, man.
Yeah.
The dashes and everything else. But the Lord is up. So RORA got that tier 2. They'll go ahead and get in position, start to zone out some of the members here of Twisted. But they have that in mind too. I don't think they just want to give this one away. They are facing a big deficit, but do they just let it go? Okay, MP is just back. They're just going to let them go for this Lord.
That's a conceal. We heard it. Light. Goads Kaloy to engage. MP the King might have come out. He's down to 1/5 of his health. A lot of damage onto him. What was he thinking?
He tried. He really tried to retreat, and based on the timers, it looked like it was close, but MP the King, that is an entire RORA squad that you had with you.
Yeah.
It would have been a great highlight, but at this point now it's a big question mark.
With you, more like on you.
Yeah. And that happens, so man, it's kind of crazy because Lancelot is so prioritized. He's such a sought-after pick for a lot of teams, but it seems like Aurora has just had an answer for that. So now they'll march down this mid lane a little bit further. Summon Force drop.
Oh my goodness.
Sean, so low.
Yeah, this is why you really can't give Harith to Aurora anymore. I think Dominic has proven himself to be one of the scariest gold laners in the league with the Harith. He's just different. I was telling you guys this before the draft popped up. Will Twisted Minds give the Harith? They gave it, and now they're paying for it.
Yeah, here we go. The assault into the base on that first turret. Lord makes its way, and they'll have to be forced to respond. They might just want to go for all these turrets. The shield was down in the mid as well, so there goes the base turret. Twisted Minds, what are they going to do?
MP the King throws out the Phantom Execution after puncturing through that wave. Now Aurora keep the Lord up. Okay. All the ults thrown out by Twisted Minds. Summon Force taking now Kaloy. MP trying, Nosha falls. Lanzu might follow up. The Puissance already used by Demon Kite. MP the King dashes through. Hats. And there's one more siege minion. Lanzu between sure defeat and his team. And the Lord has been taken down, but the base might fall up next. Now Force underneath it. MP falls. Aurora take game 1.
When the lights shine through, game 1. A dominant win here for Aurora.
Too dang strong. The damage profile was perfect for Twisted Minds. They wanted to go into the second phase, winning through the Roman EXP, their main utility picks, but they lost that war as Aurora showed their main utility picks first in the Baksha and the Arlott. Yes, Lancer got his comfort Uranus, but the Baksha and Arlott just supplements the Harith and Kimmy so well. Then the surprise last pick chip by Aurora was the cherry on top. Great drafting by Aurora.
Gentlemen, is this Sean's first loss on CAG?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
He was 4-0 going into today. Now he is 4-1.
4-1.
I was at 4-5. I was like, wait, that's wrong math. Yeah, 4-1.
4-1 right now. He's had 5 games on that Kagura, and you know, there like early game, you could still see how that Kagura was able to pump out some pretty good damage, even with that early. I think it was the first item he had was the Genius Wand. Like that burst damage could work, but I think the main thing here, and we'll take a look at it in the highlights and everything else later. But this chip, man. Speaking of MVP, it's gonna be Light. This chip, there was no answer for, and that shortcut proved its point time and time again. I think we might see chip more often now.
This chip is a scalpel in the hands of a surgeon. That is Light. Genius already in finding those angles, but you gave him literally the shortcut and the Y walk to get that easy flank, and it's magical.
Yeah, which explains why Twisted Minds PH, they were still very aggressive early on. Again, the Khalid and Kagura do a great job of getting priority in the center of the map. It was them who was able to get the first kill onto Light, but then eventually RORA just hit that point of the strength of their lineup, where if the chip is unchecked, Demon Kite and the Baksha is unchecked, then no matter how good Kaloy and Sean was in this game in terms of getting information and rotating around the map, you will eventually just succumb to moments like these, a sudden shortcut, turning things around just because the chip already got info of where you are and he can suddenly bring in the rest of the team with him.
It's crazy how they just juggle these fights around under the turrets too, because they did it multiple times, even in the mid lane between the tier 1 and tier 2, and it also just stopped Nasha from building up in the Granger. He didn't really have any room to breathe. MP the King had to do so much work. Even on a Lancelot, who typically is able to finesse his way through fights, just wasn't able to because of just how many answers the RORA was able to go and throw at him. So, again, a very dominant and clean draft, I would say.
MP, I rarely see him get overwhelmed like this. This should have woken him up. Because he already is playing with, as we know, one of the most in-demand heroes. I don't know if they respected the amount of CC that Aurora was playing with.
Yeah.
Just the Harith is the only hero that doesn't have any modicum of CC. Everyone else kind of messes with the Lancelot.
Yeah, this is one of these moments where you really see this, especially for the newer teams, where they tend to think a little bit more about the lane-specific matchup over the big macro picture of the battle.
Yeah.
I feel like this Uranus pickup was more of like, yeah, you're totally going to win in lane with that. You're going to take Edward down. But then, okay, you win the laning phase. That Arlott, his condition is simple. Get that final slash off quickly, and he's already done his job. But then Edward was able to get that plus more, which made this Uranus pick look even worse.
Which makes me question, where did this Khalid come from? I think the Khalid was a solid idea.
Yeah.
But that last pick chip kind of undid everything Twisted Minds set up for. And I'd hate to say, but Twisted Minds' approach at ingenuity and innovation came up short, because this is what I was asking for pre-match, is we need to see the Twisted Minds from last season where they were willing to push the Alice propaganda, the Alice agenda. This time they're just more, all right, fundamentally sound, we'll try new things, but I don't think they're trying them enough. They haven't changed as much, I'll say that much.
So like push it a little bit more.
Yeah,
basically.
Because while they can still do it, while they can afford to do that.
I think at this point they're really gonna start looking at the picks that they give for Lansu in terms of, okay, does it have enough crowd control? Yes, he is so dependable on this Uranus. But now RORA showed up and say, win the lane, so what? If you can't do much in the objective team fight, then what else can you do against us? And going back to what we were talking about with Yue in the draft, wherein even if he doesn't end up with a hero that is mid, long-range artillery style, as long as he has a body in front of him, giving him space and vision, he doesn't care. And he played this Kimmy as if he had all the range in the world. It's like, oh, cool, thanks for the info. Let me get up in your face, and then you can't get me. He had a perfect game.
He did. And you can see 3 of the sections here for the Kite brothers. Domin Kite for 2 for BPI Rich Guy, the carry, and then of course Demon Kite over here on the wingman. And yeah, I think I have to agree with Renoir's sentiments. I don't think you want to give the Harith over to Domin Kite anymore. He's probably one of the best performing Harith players right now.
And not to make Twisted Minds head ache a little more, take away the Moskov as well. Like those 2 picks, if you're able to steer Domin Kite away from those 2, then maybe we're talking about game 3. So how do you do that?
Yeah, it's tough because I can't also really fault for what we saw as the result here, because you can see that the picks of Twisted Minds were in a way what they were perceiving as potential answers to the Harith of Dominkite. If this Kagura and Khalid were able to take control of the jungle of RORA, even though it would have been that would have been a miracle for it to happen. I mean, yeah, that would have been great. But then the chip really just changed everything.
It does. This will also change everything for you guys right now if you want to watch, because don't miss out on this early Christmas gift. Tickets are now at 189 pesos from September until September 19. Go to the MPL Philippines website and secure your tickets now. And again, that's, you know, we're celebrating Christmas spirit early here in the Philippines, as we always do. And grab your tickets, because we've got plenty of great matches ahead of us for you guys to go ahead and join in the MPL Philippine Arena. And I know some people missed some of the action because the weather, that our version of maybe snow that we had last week.
You mean torrential rain?
Yes.
Okay.
If you do manage to make it here, make sure you make it count and immortalize some of these moments. Snap a photo of any MPL Philippines player during these specific moments. Again, during the match, during their entrance, while inside the venue for a chance to win diamonds.
Yeah, we're almost there. September 8th is the submission. That's going to be on Monday this week, depending on where you are. September 8th, GMT +8. So you don't get confused. Submit it.
Submit the snaps while you can. Have you guys happened to see any of those snaps, by the way? Have you been able to go in and look?
All you got to do is look for the hashtags.
For the hashtags, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some photos. Although a lot of the photos that I'm seeing are actually of them with the players. I haven't really seen a lot of the really nice and candid shots. Like they're not looking at the camera.
Maybe they don't want to be creepy. Like you said, I don't know.
Hey, we both know that's not true.
I would definitely like to take some snaps of you guys over here on the desk.
We have a lot. We just can't publish them. Because they're from our private lives, and we're closed off dudes.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You clearly are not.
Not him.
I'm not that closed off. So
at JC Rezebek everywhere.
No, that's the wrong one.
Oh, that's wrong.
At I'm Naisu.
Yeah, nope, that's the wrong one too.
At Naisu Lifts.
Nope, it's just Naisu with 3 U's.
Oh, I don't follow that one yet.
Okay.
I don't follow that one yet. I'm afraid that if I do, I would be unproductive.
That might be the case.
Yeah. That might be the case. But right now, our match 2, or our game 2 is ahead of us. We can go ahead and try to think about this. And what do you think, Leo, that these guys have to do to go ahead and get to a game 3 for Twisted?
I want Twisted Minds to innovate more, is what I'm saying.
Innovation is the key.
How can I spell it out further? Last season, they were bringing out these weird picks. Was it last season that they did mid-Hilda?
Yeah,
or
Mid-Hilda.
14?
Yeah. I think it was last season. 15.
Yeah, it was 15.
So I want to see that Twisted Minds because we're seeing so far the DNA of the MDL Season 5 champions. This is very 9 lives coded. But what if we see the Bonchan side of things, the MP-centric things? Because we know that MP, he's not allergic to utility, right?
Yeah.
He's capable of playing these things. It's just what strategies fit that kind of play from MP. I want to see that. I want to see how the MDL dudes mold themselves around that.
Yeah. The thing is, my heart is asking for the same thing. My mind is laser focused on the simple thing. Make sure you get something like a Farsa or Eve that can bomb a Harith or a Kimi down real quick if ever you do end up giving those picks. And don't give the Harith anymore. Add to that the little thing that you added as well. Consider the Moskov, being ready for it if ever the Harith, because it's usually if the Harith isn't available, you'll either go Moskov or Granger, and then that's it. You're going to be looping around that idea. But I think one thing that Twisted Minds can lash on is that 100%, if it's available for them, Aurora would want Kimi in the hands of Yue, and then someone tanky to give him space. That's Light's playstyle. Then you have to watch out for the high loss. So, as Twisted Minds, yes, before you go out of the box, look at what's in the box first that you're not dealing with yet.
I just feel like last season, I spent multiple times saying, "Man, my mind is twisted."
Yes,
and I don't know if I've done that yet this season.
No,
they haven't had to. But that's it's not a bad thing. We're not saying this as it's a bad thing. It's just like Twisted Minds. They've played a very specific playstyle the past couple weeks.
It's clean.
Yeah, it's clean.
Fundamentally sound,
and that's what got them the boys here, the MDL championship. Under 9 lives.
That's
true. That's what we're saying. We need to go ahead and see that twisted concept of, let's go ahead and maybe push the limit a little bit while they still can, while you're still in that first half of the season. And also, yes, utilizing, I think, MP the King in a way where it's like, again, even if he picks up a Lancelot, I think you can still build a better lineup to complement it. This one was more so, your gold lane was shut down, your jungle was pretty much shut down, and then you had to kind of scramble from there. And again, possibly just take out the chip. Because it seems like, I don't know what the answer is going to be for the chip right now, but that seems to be, that might be the only answer right now. What else would you take against a chip? Especially because it's held on for the second phase.
You know what? Here's the thing. I know he's fallen out of the meta, but the old school, not really old school, but remember Chip went out of the meta because Rome Badang became a thing.
Yeah.
And Badang wasn't even touched in that last one.
Badang and Arlott are your responses to a chip. So if you have one or the other, that kind of disincentivizes the chip. But if you're able to lock one down and you're going into the second phase, you might not even have to ban it anyways.
No, now I'm thinking about it. It also would have been kind of sad too, because if ever, what would have happened? Let's say their last picks were Uranus, Badang. That last pick for Aurora didn't need to be a chip.
Exactly.
That could have been an Esmeralda, and then still we'd say Aurora were winning the draft. So now the more I think about it, it's like, did they really just get checkmated?
Or the Hylos.
Or the Hylos as well.
The Hylos went through too, right?
The Hylos was ignored.
Yeah, I feel like the more we talk about this, the more I'm starting to really think that you can't really fault Twisted Minds as much, because it seems like, again, they are a team that they acknowledge their comforts and the playstyle that they want to play, and that's all okay. If you want to lean towards that. It seems like Aurora are just going into this with the more veteran wilds of going, okay, then we'll make sure you have a hard time playing that.
And that's why I want them to rely on new things. Because if you're new in the league, there's no way you're gonna win that experience arms race.
Yeah.
You just have to say, bad beats, we're gonna tank the losses, we'll come back better when we're sophomores. No, you have to evolve now. And I'm wondering if that's in their playbook. If they have a genetic evolution that can be expedited.
Hey, the brain always develops, man. You know?
But we don't have 1,000 years, dog.
That's true. So here we go.
There we go.
Game 2's draft. You'll see it. The Hereth is banned out. They have heard loud and clear. And then over on the other side, I think this is still the case of it looks like the jungler options are still going to pop through. The Lancelot and the YSS to be taken. But for Twisted Minds, and they'll change one more. They'll take out the Baksha.
All right. I like how Twisted Minds drafted this, because now they're going to go into a significantly different looking draft for the side of Aurora. Now you sort of can tease yourself what to expect. Okay, the Kimmy is still an option for Aurora. The Hylos is still an option. So no matter what Domikite ends up with, he's not going to be the only carry. There's going to be a supplement to him, so all the pressure isn't on him. However, now, with the Baksha gone, you can look at Demon Kite and going, okay, the Fredrin is still on the board. If we're not careful and RORA ends up with the Fredrin and then Twisted Minds ends up with an Assassin, it could be a repeat of game number 1, going up against a tanky fighter jungler that can strongly invade. So if you go Lancelot here, that's risky. I'd want to see them just go for the CC. They still go for the Lancelot.
You know what? It's not so bad. They can repair this in blue 2 and 3.
Yes.
Yep.
It's not so bad. Again, even before the season started, when they were assembling Twisted Minds, it was already MP-centric. So this does not go against their DNA. Like, this is, I'm okay with this.
Okay. But I still think, even if you, like, this is what I was saying earlier, like, if you get the Lancelot for MP, how do you complement it better? So that MP, because a lot of the performances we've seen from Twisted, it's like, the 4 are doing this, more of the rotations on the map, synergizing well. MP's kind of doing his thing, making the plays.
I'll tell you now, don't give Uranus the Lansu.
Yeah.
Maybe start there.
Yeah.
Maybe start there.
You need something active on the map, something with a good amount of crowd control. It can't just be a sponge, because your crowd control, it can be pick off through the roamer. The roamer can be someone who can go fast, like a Cho, and then you get the strong, tanky crowd control presence. See? All right. So now you know where I'm leaning, right? Like, now I'm like, you know, Lancelot, why? But then they go Uranus, and like, why?
This is the same thing they did against Liquid. What is Twisted trying to pull?
To be fair, they're now up against a YSS in the jungle. Wherein if they have the Uranus and Kagura, if they just get a really good roam pair to pick up with it,
they just run into him.
They can run into the jungle of Aurora. But then Aurora can just go ahead and pick up the Kimmy here, or the Fart. Actually, no, just go Kimmy. It's the Uranus you're up against. Don't go for like singular burst damage. Farsa still, though, I would understand, because you can go fast, you'll be protected. But yeah, it's just, again, this is what I was talking about. No matter what you end up with, they want to get the Kimmy, they want multiple carries. Now even Domikite doesn't need to go into a typical carry. He can go Ruby or a crazy gold pick.
Okay, talking about this team's DNA, if you'll call back to even the prime of Blacks International, Coach Bonchan would draft the same way. He would always try the same lineup and just change 1 or 2 things. Maybe blue 4 and 5 will give us a little more enlightenment as to where he wants to go.
I like the positivity. Let's see.
Glass half full, baby.
Glass half full.
All right, optimism.
So, yeah, see, RORA take away the Moskov. This is them signaling, no matter what we end up with, we're fine. We can go for a Granger. If we're not going to end up with a Granger, see, Twisted Minds were forced to ban the Ruby.
Yep.
Just don't go CC, gold lane, please. They can even go Lunox for all I care, because you're up against a Uranus. Uranus is going to be sad about that. Granger is most likely going to be the pick for RORA. But what we're talking about here is that there is a high chance RORA are considering right now to go something crazy in the gold.
Crazy in the gold, so like just fighter in the gold, especially...
Fighter or magic?
Fighter or magic. So far, some of the gold lanes that have even popped up around different competitive leagues around the world. We got the CC, we got the Ruby, we got the Lunox, we got the I think there was a Mincetar
golden thing.
I feel like some of these picks I've erased from my memory.
Hey, it's still a stat out there somewhere. Whoa, RORA bans it out.
Ranger all the more. An unorthodox pick in gold is going to come through, and I'm reading it to be in red 5.
Yeah, all right.
They won't even reveal it up until the very last moment.
Are we potentially in the same boat? Lunox, right?
You're thinking Lunox?
I'm even thinking Natan.
Natan? Gold Natan.
Look at it. Triple marksman.
No, but then when he enters, he's kind of dead to the Kagura.
No,
right?
he can just have to dodge the Kagura. He can even dodge the lance.
Skill issue.
Triple mark. Might be a bit too slow.
Yeah, no, not Natan. I'm just saying, like, if you really want to go crazy and you need magic, that's where I'm looking. Or maybe something as simple as a Claude, depending on what 4 and 5 look like.
Yeah. Actually, even the Claude. Thank you for humbling my thoughts a little bit, where it's like, yeah, they can still honestly go Claude, and it's going to be fine. Because Twisted... with RORA picking up the high loss, now a Claude, if ever Dominkite will pick it here, doesn't have to worry about just quickly getting poked down. And now you're forcing Kaloy to play something like the Franco or the Cho. Something with quick, hard catch right away.
And we don't even know what's in the XP lane.
Tells all.
There it is.
First, so they are waiting.
Asking you shall receive.
Yeah.
Oh no, we've come down to Uranus Esmeralda.
I was going to say, we go back.
We're so back.
We're so back. The eternal battle. That's what we used to call it.
Yeah.
Just the one that never ends.
It's a good amount of nothing.
Yep.
They're both dancing, technically.
It's like watching two Beyblades go at it for 2 minutes doing nothing.
What would you give the... Isn't there like a certain name for each one?
It's called Spamina, dude.
Spamina.
Those next two picks... Whoa!
Okay. I mean, I suggested pickoffs if they go for the Kaja instead carry. This is... Yeah, we are back in Season 9. This is such a Season 9 coded draft.
My mind is twisted. There, I said it. At least for this season.
Lunox or... Hell, even the Chang, I would... Oh, wait, no, it has to be physical. I think it will just be Claude,
It has to be physical.
Bruno? Oh, thank you. Yeah, that could
Bruno,
still
man?
be okay.
Bruno with a flicker even. I would do it.
Yeah. Bruno flick, because at least you're gonna have to have someone who doesn't take too long to farm. Kimmy and Yisanshin are a bit greedy. Yeah, they would be a bit too greedy for the Claude. Bruno would be good. But Claude, I would understand. So Bruno, Claude.
Okay.
But my fanboy mind is thinking Lunox Chang'e.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Roger.
It's a Roger in the gold lane.
Roger with a flicker? You're so mobile.
You know what?
You're like a mobile legend.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a 10 for that. That's perfect.
That's a 10 out of 10.
I'm here till Sunday.
Ironically enough, the first time this was played this season, Twisted Minds Philippines, MP the King in the jungle. He actually played the Roger already. So this is RORA showing them, hey, let me give you a taste of your own medicine, but applied differently.
Okay.
It's a different dosage.
It is a different dosage, man. Let's take a look at the draft index here for both teams. Again, I think for this is what we were asking for, though. I think we got our answers from both teams with very unique drafts for this one, for game number 2. We get another glimpse at it. I don't know, man. I actually don't know which side to lean on here.
Well, it boils down first, number 1, to the matchup of how the carry and the Roger are going to go. Because I'm going to say this now, it's going to be a bit blunt.
Yeah.
Twisted Minds drafted something that a pro team would draft in RG. In Scrim, grinding stars.
Okay, well, you guys let us know what you think. Will we get to a game 3? Will Twisted win this with their unique draft? We asked for it, we got it. Or will it be a sweep here for RORA? Again, looking at the first glimpse, a whole lot of poking, of course. This is very reminiscent of what we saw previously.
Gentlemen, I am perplexed as to why Twisted Minds seem to be allergic to crowd control.
Yeah. It's like, all we need is one.
Just one. The most purest form of it is suppression.
Twisted Minds could be tough, or it could all work out for them. Sean and Kaloy need to be on point with who they're going to be getting first. With once Kaloy hits level 4, their first kill through a Divine Judgment is going to be crucial. It can't just be the frontliner. If they can, they're going to have to take either Yue or Demonkite down.
Okay. I think part of this too, it's been so long since we've seen the Kaja in action. Still serves its purpose, you know, to just go and grab someone if you can with that Divine Judgment. But I think you also put yourself at risk here with the Kaja, because I just feel like with this lineup that RORA has, you might actually get blown up too quickly, trying to make that play happen.
This is going to be a very demanding 5 minutes for Twisted. So MPL King goes for a quick visit in mid with Sean and Kaloy providing vision to make sure that Yue takes a bit of damage. He's regenerating through it, so he should be fine. They're going to try to get pressure onto Edward. They probably won't get it because he's too close under the turret. It's going to boil down to see to Turtle 1 and Turtle 2 how Twisted Minds handle it. They're going to need to get a kill if they're going to want quick incremental growth.
Mid lane. Trying to get those level 4s. Turtle's up though, so this is where we see some of the key members don't have that level 4 yet. Lensu jumps in.
Very good zone. Shocker, exposing all the members of Twisted Minds. Aurora needs to break some ground here. Already throwing out the Retribution. MPL King secures a turtle. Clean take for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, that was the right call. Exactly what we were talking about with this Uranus at some point in the discussion, wherein he can just go into the jungle. Yes, Aurora has a great stopper into the high loss, but then once that high loss gets damaged onto that Yisun Shin, and at this point of the game, it actually is surprisingly a lot of damage.
Oh!
Aurora's gonna struggle. Oh, Lancer should be fine, right? Yeah, he knows the timings of that Uranus.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Just barely, though, yeah.
Very close. Again, I think this Esmeralda, especially later on in the game, will be a lot more trouble for Twisted Minds to deal with. But like you said, Lansu serves a purpose, and that is to, if they can just zone out some of the members of Aurora before they lead into an objective, that might be the best thing you can do.
Best case scenario, Twisted Minds don't need crowd control because they are the crowd. Literally, Lansu is worth 3 dudes.
Yeah.
If you saw in that first turtle engagement, he was spacing out 3 members of Aurora single-handedly.
Yeah, again, high-ranked RG scrim tactics. If you can pick up a lineup that plays to your strengths, is comfort, and you can bully with it early on, sure, why not? Oh, I'm all up for it. But then how are you going to turn it around in the mid to the late game? How are you going to retain that lead up against a lineup that naturally will be able to scale really well? Again, pressure on Sean and Kaloy to get pickoffs. They are both level 4 and level 6. They might be able to find one soon. Maybe around the second turtle, that's when we'll see a first blood come through. And if it is for Twisted and it's a high value target, it might end up leading to a big invade into the purple. The purple buff for Aurora will already spawn, so we're not going to see that invade because they will get it before turtle goes in. Twisted Minds are going to be leaning towards getting big kills right away. Let's see if RORA are going to play into that and actually fight heavily.
Yeah, you can see where Light is right now, too. It's going to stay on that top side of the map. Buffs are being secured here, and Turtle comes up in a couple seconds, so that might be the play. If Aurora can just pick off someone, they might even just choose to give up some of the objectives there or not really contest for them because maybe they're not in a fighting condition, but Demon Kite and Edward are both down here. The rest of the team actually making their way for this fight, so we might actually see a full-on forced 5v5.
Good
unless
angle.
Naja stays up top.
More like a 4v5, and they put some pressure on Sean, force him to use the Purify there, the cleanse on his kit. Lansu spacing out 3, Mount Shocker exposing exactly where the members of Twisted Minds are. Turtle gets reset, Light looking to space out Twisted Minds.
Naja's come down.
Doing Lansu's job for him. Lansu gets taken down. Oh no, Power of Consecration. MPL King scores again. Light gets taken down to first blood. Demon Kite follows up, and it looks like it is looking bad for Aurora. Demon Kite's just not quite ready for it. Gets the jump in. Ooh, shy to force it.
I thought he would be able to get the kills, but I guess Dominikai just doesn't have enough damage on the Roger.
Not yet.
Yeah, doesn't have it yet, and he's also respecting the damage of the Uranus. Hey, everything that we discussed actually happened there for Twisted Minds. Kaloy and Lansu, my personal MVPs of that engagement. Perfect zoning out by the Uranus. Even before the big fight started, he was able to get that Ionic Edge, the very first one, onto Demon Kite, which actually took down like 25% of his health, meaning that Aurora were already at a disadvantage. And then Kaloy, so laser focused, he held onto the Flicker and Divine Judgment, saving it for Demon Kite, and they were able to get him down.
There's the pressure up top. Light's here to help Demon Kite, but you can see this trade is not favorable. They could be in trouble here.
Oh, here we go. The conceal coming in from Twisted Minds. Oh, Light gets cornered. Another takedown. 3 kills so far. None for Aurora.
If you thought me calling this an RG strat was an insult to Twisted Minds, no, it isn't. This is me just going, yeah, make sure you can just play it right, and they are playing it perfectly. The discipline around the Kaja ultimate, the fact that they're still able to get into key areas of the map through the Uranus, who is just bodying everyone on the side of Aurora, it's good.
Yeah, look at this too. It looks like they're just going to go for a trade. Aurora knows that they've been struggling on all fronts of this map. They'll at least get the tier 1 in the bottom finally down here. So they put work in, and really for RORA's lineup, it's more so of just being able to go ahead and catch up on terms of items and gold, because in a lot of these fights, they don't really have an answer to get through Lansu just yet, and they always have to be weary of where's Kaloi going, especially when that flicker is available.
Oh, Dominkite reads the situation wrong, thought he was the predator, but he was actually prey. Another kill for Twisted Minds.
I feel like I actually saw him jump out and like be like, like on the Roger when that happened. Unfortunate for Dominkite.
MP King pushing through, sees that there are 4 members of Aurora there. Traction pulse by Yue, not gonna do much to contest. Turtle 3 goes over Twisted.
Aurora able to secure their own orange buff, but Twisted Minds with getting the turtle will not be able to translate into a push in the center of the map because of the fast wave clear that Aurora has. Should still mean more control for Twisted though. They are playing this so well. All-time hero stats for the Dominkite. Has played 4 games all throughout his career and has only won 2.
Oof. Okay.
He's 50-50 on this, literally.
Yeah. 50-50, man. But again, you're gonna need I guess some time, because we don't see the Roger too often pop up, but you know that he's going to have to go ahead and scale up. They are going to be able to get another turret, though, for RORA. So 2 on the board for them. They got a little space to work with. Twisted has also found another one, that tier 2 on the bottom side. So they are clearly having that power spike available to them. You can see they're 3.5 ahead. There's almost that 3rd item locked in here, too, for Nasha. So he's been on his own, farming up, and he's quite a bit ahead of Dominkite in terms of farm.
Yep, Swift Trinity coming up in just a jiffy. The deep hero pool showing from Nosha, the MDL Season 5 champion.
Great zone out right now by Twisted. Oracle, Dom Ice. Not too far is the lead of the carry over the Roger, considering the shielding and sustainability that Twisted Minds has through items and little bits of spell vamp here and there. He might not have enough just yet. So Aurora should be able to find a way to turn this around, but with how Twisted Minds are playing, again, they're sharp. It was a fleeting time rush, actually, for Kaloi.
Yeah.
No wonder he's been able to get that Divine Judgment very quickly.
Yeah, great choice there. Great itemization. Twisted Minds playing around the Kajo, which we expected, especially when you drafted in for its debut pick. So in a sense, it's been working really well. I thought he would get blown up immediately after using Divine Judgment, but it doesn't happen. Look at this pressure, though, on the purple.
MP, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, MP? He's a smooth criminal, that one. Steals that purple.
And Demonkite's still starving. Twisted Minds right now are an absolute thriller.
Oh, let's keep it going. Right now, Lord is up. They're going to have to contest for this. RORA is in position.
Oh, no, that's bad.
Light drops the Glorious Pathway. The answer, Kaloi gets popped. Traded off for Light. And look at this, Edward keeps on dancing, but he's taking too much damage. Dominkite backing up. Sean jumps onto him, dropping some damage. Some lifesteal from Dominkite. That is single-handedly canceling this Lord take. RORA contesting in their own way. In comes MP. Threatens Yue, pushes him back. Back to business here for Twisted. Taking the Lord. Oh, now it's a full-on dance.
Yeah, they're going to have to... It goes for a reset. Both roamers might be up by the time they actually commit to the Lord here.
Yikes.
Right now, Edward keeping MP, the King, off of it. So it looks like they'll go for this.
Yep.
They reset, and RORA holds on. They just lacked a lot of damage, you know, in dealing with that front line of Twisted.
Yeah. Light does not have the Revitalize for this one, so that might be a little edge for Twisted. However, Sean did spend his flicker too greedily earlier. And the King already with an endless battle. RORA and Twisted round 2 for Lord 1.
Mountain Shocker. No one is out of RORA's vision, but that time's out. Again, they have to find a way to get a false engage to try and feign this contest, because Twisted Minds, they own the map.
They do, right now with that lead too. They'll just take their time. MP goes and grabs his buff while the rest of Twisted maintains control around that Lord. And this is the thing, earlier on in that fight too, Nasha had most of the space to work with, and you can see the damage is really tearing through RORA, especially now that he's got that Trinity to work with. So I think this is still mostly a catch-up game. You can see Dominkite he's littled that gap just a little bit between him and Nasha. So at some point you might see that Roger come into play, but so far it really hasn't played out in some of these team fights here, where RORA really has to choose their fights and the approach on these. And Lord now half health here. I still think Twisted doesn't want to fully commit though.
Lansu gets a beat onto Dominkite. Dominkite less than half health. MP the King looking to finish the job.
Why?
And he's deep into enemy territory. Assassinating Dominkite. Light looking to repair the situation. Drops the Glorious Pathway. Looking to lock in MP the King. Not going to happen. Free pick off for Twisted Mind. Get the push in mid lane as well.
At first I thought MP the King was a little bit too greedy, but he read the situation perfectly actually. Looking back, RORA were not in the right position to help Dominkite and to be able to answer back right away. And that means Twisted Minds get this Lord because of the efforts of MP the King saying, I'm going to finish off this kill onto Dominkite and I'm going to look good while doing it.
Yeah, super smooth there. And that's what the Lancelot does so well, especially in the hands of someone like MP the King, sitting at a much better game so far than what we saw previously. I mean, even between him right now and Demonkite, this is a matchup we see so much. Lancelot versus YSS, he's a massive lead ahead of Demonkite. So I think even at this portion of the game where you're facing down eventually a Lord push.
Glorious Pathway. Light looking to punish how deep Twisted Minds have gone. Lansu put down a quarter of his health. Takes it like it's nothing.
Wow. Okay, he burned the flicker then. But still, Lansu, we saw it picked up in the draft. We're like, no, not the Uranus again. But this one, it's way different this time in game 2 for Lansu. So Twisted will go ahead and get this tier 2 down. They're ready to go ahead and knock on these base turrets of RORA. And like I was saying, I just don't know if they have enough time to build up on the items they need.
MP puncturing through. Uses up the cooldown on that. Gets out the old-fashioned way. Lord cracking down from bottom. The flicker, the conceal. Taking down Light. One man off. MP the King looking to take down. Demonkite does find him. Edward is down. The shutdown on MP. And the Lord still standing. 4 members of Twisted take down the base. We're going all the way.
They went in and lassoed the horse. And they took out Light. And now we'll go to a game 3.
Light on this high loss needed to get wrangled, and wrangled he did. It looked kind of jank, but they made it work. Very specific conditions were what we lined up here for Twisted Minds in the early game. They had to play around Turtle 1 and Turtle 2 very well. They had to invade, they had to be aggressive. Because this is what you get. Again, you think about this as like an RG strat, high-level RG that you can just bully, and they just did that, and they made it work so well.
You know what? I knew all along that Kaloy was a good boy. I knew he was a good son, but I know he was also a cowboy.
He's a cowboy. He's a wrangler. And man, I don't know. I guess that's good to see. Debut pick for Hero. Get the dub.
I told you, just the right amount of crazy, the right amount of insane, and then you get a win against Aurora.
They did it. This is what we were talking about, and our MVP for this one is going to be MP the King. You got to say, it was a very stark difference from game 2 than he had from game 1 here. So you got 5-1-1, but I think, regardless of these stats, it was the pressure that he was able to put around the map, even under the turret, like we saw when he went for Dominkite and made us also second guess, like, whoa. But then, that's just MP the King, man. Like, he's going to take that play if he's confident enough in himself to get a kill out of it. And that alone, by taking out Dominkite or any of those key members from RORA, gives Twisted Minds that kind of ease to take these objectives or these spaces on the map.
Yeah, number 1, it started off in the draft. This time the Lancelot was well supplemented. The Uranus early on actually didn't have to face off a lot of problem. He can take damage, he can just stand in front of the members of Aurora. What surprised me is he deals a lot of damage. He doesn't care whether or not he's getting pelted by Yue or Light slowly draining his health down. Suddenly, once the Uranus hits the Ionic Edge, Demonkite's forced to back off, and suddenly you're at a disadvantage. All of that space to ensure that MP the King would be able to end this with a near perfect game because he had so much time to work with. He was free to farm, and it was easy for him to win the Retribution battles.
Whew. 13:08 for game 2 here. Quick adjustments too, man. I think, again, I like how we painted the picture here leading into this one about the specifics of the draft, because that's what we've seen. And even before the first game, we were like, well, the team that has this execution factor is Twisted Minds. Like, they are one of the teams that are really good at executing, even if they lean towards those more, like, traditional lineups like we saw from the previous game. They usually can still execute it, but then they twist it a little bit. The execution here was still on point.
And this is what they needed to face off one of the better teams in Season 16 at this point in Week 3.
Yep.
And we'll see here in the item builds, it just dawned on me. RORA's lineup is so expensive. Early on, I saw Dominkite build the Wind Talker first. I'm like, okay, so he's just gonna farm, right? But no, his next item was a Sky Piercer, and I'm like, you're pulling me in two different directions here, Doming. What do you want to do? Farm up or kill? You can't fight and get kills with just a Wind Talker.
Yeah, I think the Wind Talker plus the Sky Piercer would have worked out very well if ever for the side of RORA. They were able to extend fights a little bit longer while being able to deal a good amount of damage. But then the problem is, the one moment where we saw where it looked like, oh, it looks like Dominkite's gonna get a double kill here at the orange buff of Twisted because two members of Twisted are low. He didn't get it because, again, he didn't have the right item. He didn't have the right damage profile just for at that moment. And RORA specifically could not stretch out the team fight long enough so that Lanzu, and I believe at that point it was MP the King, who were both really low, still had enough health so that when Dominkite saw them, he just went, no, I can't finish this off.
I can't.
Yeah.
They were playing within Twisted Mind's small margin of error, and they needed something a little bigger, something that was like twice or thrice the size of the time they could get the kill.
Yeah, and again, they could go in with a similar game plan for Game 3. Maybe bring out, I don't know if they would bring out the Kaja again, but like bring out something again that is that little bit of twist on the draft and make it work. Because again, I think if you allow MP the King, as he's our BPI rich guy, to do his thing in the jungle, that's where we've seen, I mean, even the early conversations of this season's Twisted Minds, that was the concept of, man, MP the King, you just leave him do his thing, he's going to be able to perform. The rest of the guys all come together, play as a team, and that's what we saw here. Now, eventually, that will continue to develop into that just like super synergy that we see these teams at the top pull through.
Joseph, what you're trying to say is MP is a true king.
He is.
Because you don't have to worry about him. He worries about you, his subjects. Let the four other dudes play well, and then MP the King will do the rest.
Yeah. So, again, that goes back to the thought. Pressure onto Kaloy and Sean to be able to rotate very well in the early game and see how Lanzu can complement that and supplement that. So, I think for Twisted Minds, I've seen a pattern through them, like looking back at all their previous matches. When they're red side, they will always go through a specific thing that I will discuss a little bit more later on.
Because we want to discuss this with you guys right now. If you want to be featured as the next MPL Philippines Super Fan of the Month, all you have to do is join the MPL Philippines official group, engage with the community, and let me tell you what, we keep it positive.
Every day, almost, I post on this page. And what you do is you share any MPL-related news, updates, or content, and get a chance to be named as the MPLPH Super Fan of the Month. I'm still crossing fingers. I'm hoping that maybe they pick me.
Do you think that's fair?
What do you mean? I get exclusive interviews.
You're already the super fan by being here.
I work for those things, man.
But we're all super fans. Are you a super fan?
I'm a sad Falcons guy. That's what I am.
Maybe the super fans are the friends we made along
the way. Hey, you know what? Even though he's a sad Falcons guy, he's still a super fan. I'll tell you that much. And we appreciate that. Hey, Falcons are at the bottom. Falcons like to fly. And when you're at the bottom, you can only go higher.
Thank you, because the moment you said Falcons at the bottom and then you paused, I was just like, is he messing with me right now? It's like, we're going to have a fist fight on desk.
He's just stating facts.
I'm just stating facts, and it's like, it's true, man. Like, you can only go up from here. Like, when you're at the bottom of life, you can only go up from here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't fight him. Don't fight him.
You wouldn't want to fight me, Renmar.
Hey, I bite.
I know we took away the arm wrestling segment. I'll tell you what. Behind the back of the scenes,
yes,
I arm wrestled Hans.
And who won?
You're gonna have to link in bio to catch that. No, I'm joking.
Do we have to shell out $5.99 a month to get that?
Hey, you know what?
I'll give you $3. Split it.
I'll give you diamonds, right? But yeah, so let's go ahead and shift focus over to Game 3. Ahead of us, I know we've got a few minutes before we jump into the draft, and that's the main thing. I think for RORA, what they showed us too in Game 1, like the big, I don't know if I don't want to say it was just the chip, right? It wasn't just the chip that made that work so well, but I think even for RORA, it's still playing into, if we go back to our Infinite Keys to Victory from the Howl, it's playing into that first objective even, because I feel like here they struggled a little bit there.
Yes, because again, their lineup was not going anywhere up until all of their cores got their second item. So that's a non-starter.
Too long to cook.
Yeah.
It's like a meal that takes way too long.
Yeah. I got bills to pay. I need them paid now, not later.
Yeah, which is why the suggestion of bringing out the Bruno made sense, because at least you'd have that one dude who you know would scale up quickly. Even just one item, he's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's not online, but he's already a major threat in the table that Twisted Minds would have had to deal with. So now, Aurora, if they're going to go on the red side again, they're going to have to change some things up, because you already know that maybe the YSS might not work against this, because that means you're going to end up with pieces that will also need time to farm up, time to scale up. Twisted Minds, their 3 bans were perfect in game number 2. Fanny, Harith, Baksha. That meant that Lancelot had all the space in the world. But now from Aurora, hopefully, I kind of want to see them still stay on the red side. Twisted Minds stay blue. And then now you're going to see Aurora, hey, what if we go to the Fredrin, you know? What if we go down the route that, okay, what if we need damage? What if we make sure that we can get a Joy, and that the Joy is actually set up for success as well? So I'd like to see, not reinvention, but maybe just a little bit of refinement on the side of Aurora.
A return to form.
A return to form.
Yeah, because game 2 they kind of strayed too far from what made them win in game 1.
Yeah. It's weird too, because just the Hylos just got like shut down, and this is like one of those heroes that I would say even last week like did like okay, you know, did relatively well in the sense, and it just didn't work here.
It could also be.
Oh, they are going blue.
Remember going back looking at it. Okay, with them going to the blue side, I think there were also some decisions by Light individually that he could have stayed a little bit more further back. I get it, he needs to get vision, is getting close to the objective. But then knowing the threat of the Uranus on the map, that's when roamers have to think twice about getting vision and actually try to balance that with, okay, I will get vision in a more conservative area because I have to watch out for whether or not this Uranus is going to be invading the jungle of my YSS. That being left unchecked meant that Aurora lost Turtle 1, which allowed Twisted Minds to just go, you know, continue that, eventually that they'd be able to take the win overall. So with them now going to the blue side, with them having the main pick for the whole trade around Lancelot, CC, as the priority picks to rush, the Juicin maybe even probably, then now they can go towards more a lineup that allows Light and Yue to be aggressive without having to worry about protecting Demon Kite.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cases here too. I almost even think maybe this is one of the cases for the bans that we see the Lancelot and the YSS either like not contested, maybe they're banned out, or at least one of them is, so that changes the trade that could happen here too, especially with RORA being over on the blue now. So if they build up into that idea, of course we have to wait till we do jump into the draft here, but right now we're just kind of throwing the concepts that could happen for either of the teams, because really if you want to go ahead and start week 3 off on a good start, it'd be great for either of these teams to get that win. Of course, for Twisted Minds, if they still want to hold on to that top spot in the standings right now, they definitely want to win this series. I remember them saying that they have wanted to play against, you know, when they were asked what teams do you want to play against there, like next, or what do you want to be able to defeat? Well, all of them too, just because they're so competitive, you know, and this is the biggest test I feel like that Twisted Minds will continue to go through in this first half of the season.
And I get it. If you're going to go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, you taste all the dishes. If you're going to play in the strongest league in the world, you're going to want to look forward to facing all of these strong franchises to really test your mettle, to really prove that you belong with the big boys. And Twisted Minds, again, they've left no stone unturned. They brought out the carry Kaja combo.
Yeah.
What's next?
Man, throwing it back. I know we talked about throwing it back to the Brawl era and everything else, but you know, with a team like Twisted Minds, maybe that's the impact too of Coach Bonchan. You know, like he's throwing it back to different eras.
What if he goes, Kaloy, trying to break the code? Bring out the Exodus.
Oh,
I would mark out so hard.
You would mark out?
Yep.
Is that the term?
Yeah, it's like the opposite of crashing out.
Oh, it is?
You freak out because you're happy.
Yeah, marking out.
I've never heard that.
No, you know this.
Now
you know this.
Now I know.
This is in your vocabulary now.
Now it is.
Nope, you know this. I know you know this. Don't fool me here, sir. You're trying to come off as like, you know, oh, look at this. I'm just a cute guy who doesn't know a lot of things.
Another fight break out.
Redmar is very aggressive today. I just want to say.
Falcons are down, bro.
I am very quite ill as well. I am on medication, so yeah, it's a bad combo. So I like the decisions here by RORA. They actually surprised Twisted Minds by taking the Juicin away. With the high loss out of the map now, RORA usually do lean towards a Lancelot or CC priority rush.
Yep.
With the Yi Sun Shin still open, I'd want to see RORA veer from that. They still might stick with a YSS priority.
Or steal the Lance.
Or, yeah, I didn't mention the Lancelot. It's either Lancelot CC, but I really want them to consider picking up the Lancelot instead.
Yeah.
The Baksha isn't on the board anymore. There we go. So, with them getting the Lancelot, now Twisted Minds, they can steal a Harith if they want to. Or they can surprise and pick up a Moskov. Them banning out the high loss, yeah, I'm thinking they might be leaning towards either Moskov, Harith, and then an EXP laner.
Save my nation.
Oh no, they actually show their course right away. That is a little greedy, but I think they want to adjust their utility picks in the roam mid and EXP more than they do getting their course. It's like, you know what, course? It's okay. How are we playing the roam EXP mid is the priority of Twisted.
I can expect a lot of Cs. Okay, you know what? Knowing them, they only can go to CC now or like crowd control because Uranus is banned out.
Yeah.
What else do you do? Phovius?
Yeah, Phovius I think might still end up in the hands of Aurora though.
Yeah.
You see the Harith on the other side. You still might be open to picking your EXP later. But again, Harith, Phovius makes a lot of sense. Here now, Yua can still pick up the Eve early or just go for something a little bit more chill. Like a roam EXP pick first. Okay, so they go for the God Taunt, so they get the taunt against the Harith, and then RORA just make sure that their gold lane matchup is even with the Moskov and the Harith. So now for Twisted, they might want to consider stealing the Phovius away as an option. They can just pick it up now. They could also just pick their mid laner so they ban around Yue. The Yue pick for RORA, and then at least they know that they can just pick the mid. They don't need to pick the mid laner anymore.
Or if he goes Kagura again.
I would prefer Farsa, please. Or a Kim.
Also,
no,
just,
Farsa.
also just equally valid.
Yeah.
But also, they don't have to rush the Phovius anymore.
Yeah.
They can go ban it.
Exactly.
And it also makes them not afraid of the Arlet.
There it is. Sean wants another go.
That's it. That's all their damage. That's it.
Yeah. I think I have to accept that we are in the era of like Kagura over anyone else now at this point.
Is it that good over everyone? I feel like I would still put Farsa there.
Yeah, me too. But then considering that with the Moskov, Gatakacha, Lancelot, we have seen a lot of games where Farsa is still picked, despite all of that on the board, and it's like the Farsa just needs to be really smart about it. But nah.
If you're Sanji, maybe Farsa first.
Yeah.
But most everyone else, I get it. That cleanse is so in demand.
Yeah, so you can see they're also gonna, for Twisted, they're gonna focus down on the XP lane options here, which would also, again, what do they want to pick?
Yeah.
Is their plan to take, if it's not banned out, to take the Phovius so it's not picked up against the Harith?
You have the Phovius or the Lapu Lapu as your main trade options right now. Although I think Aurora are leaning towards the idea of, you know what, you can take one or the other. We're still willing to pick up the Arlot. But if they ban the Phovius here, Aurora, that means they are thinking that Twisted Mind, they are already telling Twisted Minds that we want to pick the Arlot for us because, you know, Arlot, Phovius, historically, Phovius is happy going up against the Arlot and, you know, play around that. So they take away Light's pick in the Grok. You can still match aggro of the Gatakacha with... Also, you can play Pick-Off if you're Kaloy. You can play Pick-Off again, but then you need a really strong EXP laner, hence the Phovius pick.
Okay, well, the last ban for Twisted will be the Selena. Again, I'm not sure what RORA wants to pick up in the mid lane. Maybe it would be nice to see the Eve come through, you know, finally. Does that work well, though, against the Kagura? Is that something that they would actually want to play into?
Yeah, you're going to be forcing out an Umbrella. And that is a tough team fight to fight for Twisted if ever Aurora do pick up an Eve, considering the options we have available. I think Aurora are thinking that Twisted Minds might go for pick-off, something like a Cho, something like a Kaja. But then,
the night
here,
sky tells all.
I'm not gonna... Esmeralda? Are they...
What are they planning here?
What are they planning here? I mean, Lapu Phovius still on
They
the
don't want
board.
an Angela Roam, do they?
Uranus isn't there.
There's no Angela here. I think they're both setting up for the potential Lapu Lapu Arlot Phovius trade.
They might... Okay, they're Phovius.
So they're blocking the Arlot, so they're saying you Lapu Lapu.
Yeah. There's more. Okay, maybe that's why, yeah, they banned out the Esmeralda because they know that they'd end up with that anyway. So, Lapu Eve, I'm guessing. I don't think there's any room for surprises anymore in the RORA side. You can't suddenly shock us and go, oh, look, Paquito's back. Benedetta might... Oh, Benedetta might have some weight. Not thinking about it.
Because them softies over there.
Yeah. Trading, you're not going to trade against the Phoveus in lane. You're just trying to clear while you're getting hit by the Phoveus, who's happy that he's getting his enhanced basic attack fast.
Yeah. You clear and run, clear and run.
Yeah, clear and run. It might just be that. Hilda's still an option. So he doesn't need to go Lapu. There's a lot of choices. I still think, artillery for you.
Oh, and there's a Lapu. And, Kimmy.
Oh, they want to play it close?
Okay.
Interesting.
This is a return to form. Look at that. Aurora drafting very similarly to game 1.
Yeah. Okay, well, we did ask for a return to form, and we are going to get it. There is a chance that Edward might go off on a quick killing spree early in this game.
Not the battle talent, but, just like literally go ham.
Just goes ham.
I think this needs to be pick off. You can't go easy on the pick here for the roam. It can't just be like, another beefy dude. It needs to be someone who goes fast, is flashy.
Angela.
Sure, flashy, yes.
Flashy.
In the sense of like, nice effects.
But dang, okay, this is pretty flashy, right? I mean, this is pretty good. I like the Badang.
He has no good targets though.
His best target is if somehow he just interrupts the movement of a Lancelot in Moscow. I feel like, but like how do? You know what I mean? Like you're almost most likely to whiff.
Yeah, it's like he's forcing out. It's like this Badang is like okay, let me just force out dashes.
Yeah, like most likely die a lot,
which is good for the Phoveus.
Yes.
And I think at some point, wait, I can't recall who told me this, but Badang and Phoveus is a scarily good combo in a lot of scrims that we've been seeing, or actually we didn't see, but
that we heard.
Yeah, that we heard.
A lot of things happening.
Yeah, Badang Phoveus are a great combo in scrims leading up to season 16.
Well, here we go. One last glimpse of the lineups here in the series for Game 3. It comes down to this one. Who will it be? Will it be Twisted Minds to go ahead and keep up at the top of the standings, or will we see RORA get one under the belt here in Game 3? You guys can let us know in the comments who you think it's going to be. Is going to be Twisted Minds or RORA? We jump into the land of Dawn for this one. And once again, we've asked for it through the drafts leading into it. I would say we got it for this one. Now, looking into it in the early game, that's where things have started in the case where, if Twisted Minds can get an early rotation going, that's going to work for their lineup here.
I think typically of the red side, we're going to see Twisted Minds go into an invade. But since Light and Yue were aggressive with their trading at the center of the map, Light was able to make the most out of the concussive blast. We might not see the... Yeah, we're not going to see the Golem invade after the Slitho Wander, potentially, but that's usually one of the MOs of Twisted Minds when they're on the red side. So for RORA... Yeah, no, they're pushing them back. They're not allowing the invade to happen. This is them respecting Twisted Minds' tendencies all throughout Season 16.
Yeah. It allows you also, again, to see how important those first, under the minute are too. Like in these early rotations, if you get a little bit of advantage, especially in the mid lane, you can secure yourself easier time in the rotation. But also part of that, so we're going to jump in.
Looking for some burst. Kaloy gets that wall up between Light and Yue, putting Light on 1/3 of his health.
Yeah, a little trade win there for RORA, but for Twisted Minds. But the good thing is Light didn't pop his Revitalize, while Twisted Minds are doing a good job of making sure that they just supplement Empty the King well. He's about to hit level 4. He's been undisturbed. It's been a lot of heavy lifting from Kaloy and Sean to provide him space, and that's exactly what you need to see from Twisted Minds with the lineup that they brought to the table.
I think part of this too is this will actually work really well together. The Kukuro with the Harith. Itemization-wise, too, for most part, Sean has been going that Genius Wand. First item, I'm assuming he's going to do the same thing here, which will then help Nasha, even in the early fights, if Nasha decides to join them, because you're almost going to be forced to, in a sense, like, you always have to play that, do I just sit in the lane, or do I follow through with Domenkite eventually when he spears in?
Aurora needs to be careful here, because if they lose this turtle, Twisted Minds are going to continue the fight and try to invade the purple ball.
Lansu comes in, sends a flicker, and that's a lot of damage already on Aurora, but Kaloy gets taken down. The stun, Yue gets the takedown as well. Demonkite takes the turtle. AOG, MP the King gets cut. It's all Aurora.
Light with the taunt onto 2 and the follow-up by the rest of RORA. Lansu made the right decision to flicker forward and take that fight. Twisted Minds were just straight up countered by Light.
Oof. And with that, I mean, a big lead this early on off of that one fight, 2,000 ahead. and they'll continue to put pressure. You can see Aurora is going to go ahead and play into that. It's just tough because even Twisted, when, you know, you were just saying it before that fight broke out, like if they decide to fight that and they lose it, that's going to be tough for them. So now Rora, with this bit of an advantage, will work into it. We're going to look at the replay here, though, brought to us, of course, by Infinix. And we jump into here. This is what we're talking about. The taunt, the unbreakable, and then the setup to follow there was just so much to deal with for Twisted, and even so, this AOG, after getting that level 4, catches in, gets a double for UA, by the way.
Edward even got that land shaker stun off onto MP the King at the perfect timing. That was just everything aligning perfectly for Aurora, while Twisted, I think that's something that Lansu and Kaloy need to talk about a little bit more, whether or not Light has that taunt. Because yes, you are encouraged to initiate first Twisted through the Phobias, but now considering that you lost the first big fight, you're going to have to think twice about it, and then yeah, check if Light has that taunt, because that's the biggest thing to stop your tempo of being able to just jump around in people's heads. Because now with the 2.4k gold lead, there's a high chance that if this Phobias gets caught quick, before he can actually get up in the air and start being a nuisance to Aurora, he's just gonna get blasted and bursted down.
They got half the combo down at least, because Lansu went all in. Lansu used his flicker, and they could have sworn they were gonna wipe out Aurora, but again, it was stopped dead in its tracks. Punished hard.
Yeah, part of this too is just the fact that UA gets an early double kill, gives them the Sky Piercer much faster, and that's something that Twisted will have to worry about as they approach some of these next fights here. Second Turtle's up. Rora trying to fight for control. This one's a little bit different though for Twisted Minds. They might just back off. It looks like MP's gonna go just grab his buff instead. Rora has complete control, and this is the right choice for Twisted, because if they did lose another fight around this one, honestly, it would be almost too much to come back to.
Yeah, the problem right now though for Twisted Minds is it's a slower tempo in the sense that, okay, maybe it could just mean a little bit more farm time for Nausea and MP the King, but then you're up against a lineup that scales up very quickly. By minute 7, Rora are gonna be encouraged to just, you know, take every fight that they can have. They can be a little bit messy with it because they already have the right amount of items and the advantage.
Oh, there's a flicker and the full combo. Demon Kite lives. Oh my God, survives.
Oh, Demon Kite.
Demon Kite might even take down Sean. Sean gets away, but just barely.
Oh, well played. Well played.
Demon Kite with an SOD from out of nowhere.
You don't mess with my Kite brother.
Kite Bros going up on the highlight reel for Aurora. You can't blame Sean for wanting to get that kill. He almost took Demon Kite down, but he had Thorn Bros just in time back to get out of the map. High frame up, and he wins the trade.
Edward. Lansu, he can smell it. Edward dashing out of range. Lansu uses the flicker.
Greedy.
Fails to get the kill, and now here comes Demon Kite Niue to punish. Gets that Infernal Pursuit on, but there might be too much damage. Lansu does not want to go in, and in comes the combo. Demon Kite survives again. Cheating death.
How many times is he going to do this? On the Lancelot, they bought so much time in a push-down bot.
Oh man, the smiling demon who cheated death twice. That's gonna go into every Clippers highlight reel for week 3, day 1.
The Undying.
Yeah, I get to be in clips.
The Undying Demon Kite right now, man. Again, this is why the Lancelot's so good. Gives you maybe a little bit too good, actually.
You can call him the Unkillable Demon King.
That's why I said the Undying, man.
I don't think we can.
No.
That's why I said the Undying Demon Kite.
Be killed. Is what I'm saying, Turtle. Now less than half health. Light gets a taunt. Pops to revitalize all 3. Turtles go over to Aurora. They get MP the King down, slaying him. Now, and some damage onto Lansu. Lansu might not survive the taunt. Pins him down, serves up a kill to UA.
Twisted Minds are making a lot of tilted mistakes at this point. A little bit too eager. Nausea, you should not be taking this fight, dude.
Nausea gets hit with that Spear of Misery. Demon Kite pushing off of camera. Light looking for that taunt. Aurora just want the turret.
Yeah, they'll get the turret. They've shifted into full gear now for Aurora. Just taking fight after fight, win after win across the map. Got themselves a 7,000 gold lead. They've got all the turtles and everything else. So they're set up perfectly. Oh no, mid.
There's the cleanse. Keeping Sean alive. Spends the flicker too. Close call.
That's tough, man.
It has gotten out of hand. I mean, we did talk about it earlier. Minute 7, minute 6 leading up to it. Exactly at that moment, RORA, as we said, they're just taking fights.
MP gets taunted by Light, but Light gets traded out for underneath tier 2. I'll take that trade any day.
We're seeing a bunch of tilted minds at this point. It's tough for Twisted. They're trying to farm, they're trying to find space in the map, but then they made too many errors, too many quick, sudden judgment calls to try and get kills, to try and crawl back, that Aurora were just able to turn things around. It's going to be one of the toughest comebacks for Twisted if they can pull it off, because Aurora have just ran away with it at this point.
That's tough because you're sitting here thinking, all right, Twisted, what can they do to get this game back under control? Because this is a massive deficit they're working against. And even then, Nasha hasn't been a part of anything, really. He's just been farming up as to do what he can do. But it's been completely just kind of shut down in a way where we haven't seen that Harith in action yet. And maybe it's going to be some time, because looking at the items here, you can see, is he in fighting form? He's got a Feather in Heaven and Starlium Scythe, but that's about it. That's not really enough to pump out the damage alongside what the rest of the team has to win any of these fights against RORA.
Yeah, and RORA are going to be able to take this Lord without a problem. Twisted Minds, Nosha doesn't have the items. He's not built to fight because the other members aren't built to fight. Wait, SOD? Nope, they're...
I pressed it.
Yeah. Okay, good zone out. No orange buff here for Twisted. They're going to be able to push a tower in the bottom lane, but they're going to lose tower in the mid.
Oh, yeah. They'll lose that one. Lord making its way down bottom. These holy shields.
Hold up.
Do they pop? Okay, it doesn't pop just yet.
DK took it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, DK got it. So they'll line these waves up. With this kind of lead, RORA can definitely go ahead and push into these base turrets. I think that's where we have to look at what's the probability here for Twisted Minds to actually defend against this massive deficit in terms of itemization. Are they actually able to hold on with this kind of lineup here?
You might be able to, considering that RORA will want to take the best case scenario as possible when it comes to sieges. They don't often lose siege battles quickly for the opposing team to turn it around. So they're probably going to try and take down as much turrets as they can, but they're not going to try to end it just yet. If they do, that's because they were able to cash off someone on the side of Twisted who was overextending like this.
Demon Kite going hunting. Flushing Kaloy out of that brush, and they isolate him, delaying his recall, with the Lord making it all the way to the turret, putting it at about half health.
Yeah, he's still staying down there, Kaloy. He might look for his own entry here on the backside.
AOG by Light catches 2, forcing. That's not forcing to purify out of Nosha. And here comes that big combo. Light gets compromised. It's taken down. Kaloy answers back in kind.
Oh, I stand corrected. RORA slipped there a little bit. Light was a little bit too eager with that AOG. They forced a flicker out of Edward. And I thought that Aurora would have considered the possibility that Kaloy wouldn't need to recall home.
Yeah.
He just stopped his recall, walked back to where he came from, was able to catch Yua, which forced RORA to just scramble. They're gonna have to respect the capability of Twisted Minds to make a comeback. Again, it's gonna take a long time. It's a 10,000 gold lead. Aurora are getting closer to the 40,000 threshold, while RORA haven't crossed the 10,000 yet. That usually means Twisted Minds have a massive item and damage and defense disadvantage that Aurora can just throw bodies at.
One of the main reasons why that happened is they were fighting under an inhibitor. There's a lot of free damage from Twisted Minds base that led to that overextension. But wait, Edward
do they want to fight
have
this?
the ult here. Oh, preempt! MP the King's Traceless taking him down. Free pickle for Aurora.
Man, Light jumped in. I was like, all right, he AOGs. But then they knew that they could catch up to MP the King off of that. So this might have just given them the angle to push into some of these base turrets here, knowing that Twisted is down one member.
Mad zoning. Sean looking to clear some bodies, dealing a lot of damage to Aurora, but Aurora's not having any of it. Kaloy with just 2 or 3 basic attacks from Doming Kite gets put down a peg.
Yeah, Sean doesn't have enough damage. Nosha built the Holy Crystal, but at this point it's still not going to be enough. Too massive is the lead of Aurora. Not impossible, but again, way too difficult for Twisted to make a comeback. Hail Mary? SOD maybe? No, wait, no, Dominic is the one with the SOD, so they're
It's just it's more or less the same, man. You got to make a play, you got to make a miracle play happen.
That was devious. What Aurora overcommitted to at the bottom lane was setting up for a free Lord. Anyways, they catch one. Again, it's MP.
Sir, you did not need to be there at that moment. You saw the opposing team just got the Lord which spawned on the side of where your orange buff was. I think Twisted Minds have crumbled here, yes.
I think you were right earlier, man. They're tilted.
Should have. No, he didn't even click it.
Yeah.
He was just blindsided. He was tunnel vision to take it as buff.
Again, I agree with Renmar. You don't have to be there, you know?
Yeah, this is gonna be, could be it. Could be. I think this is gonna be the last siege. Slow push up top. They're gonna let the minion waves push the top and the middle minion wave. Yep, they don't need to go fast with it. They're gonna let bottom push first. They're gonna fight through there. Minions will come in through mid. Top side's gonna come in. Endable here for RORA.
There we go, marching in the base with the Lord, Twisted on the defense.
That's the Ionic Pulse thrown out. Traction towards them, forcing Nosha to drop that Zaman Force. And they clear out that mid lane inhibitor. Top up next, Aurora, about 15,000 gold up. Literally fighting against Twisted Minds, who seem to be stuck in the Silver Age. They're facing off swords with RPG. Next up is the base. AOG full combo. They're trying to clear him out, but the base is in jeopardy. Down goes FB the King, and the base follows next. Aurora take the series.
Mr. Consistent jumps in like the bravest fighter he is and sets things up to end the game there.
The perfect combination between the Lapu Lapu and Gatot Kacha, and it just crumbled for Twisted Minds real quick as Aurora locked in. Says GG, we win, and we're gonna continue our roll.
Whew. Fantastic game here. I think at the same point, you just have to look at it as this is one hell of a competitive match between two teams that have been doing a lot of good, and I think they were really taken to the limit. But for game 3, it was like Twisted Minds, they just couldn't find that form that we're so used to seeing in the past few weeks here. So again, GG's to them to take their bow here, of course, for the match against RORA. But it's one of those instances where I guess for Twisted Minds, they can go ahead and look at this and see where did they go wrong. They clearly made some mistakes, especially there towards the end of game 3. And we'll see how they adjust. But congratulations, Aurora. We're going to be throwing it on stage with our hosts, Hans and Odin, to go ahead and hear for our winner's interview.
Just an absolutely incredible performance. 3 in a row for your winners, Aurora Gaming! My goodness, Coach MTB, Coach Dex, this was such a moment para sa inyo, and I want to know more about, you know, your personal preparations for this, considering na yung ilan sa mga miyembro nitong Twisted Minds ay nakalaban nyo noong Cebol SEA Games qualifiers and things didn't go so well for you. Nakadagdag ba yun as motivation for you to be able to win this game?
I think hindi siya motivation kasi nag-iisip kami ng mga plano nila kasi expect namin na marami silang gagawing kakaiba or baon para sa amin. So kami naman ni Dex, ang sabi ko ay reverse lang natin sila para at least magkagulo-gulo na yung laro natin. So yun lang yung naging preparation namin nung kalaban namin sila.
At yung pagkaagulo na yun, it definitely worked in their favor, Odin.
Mukha nga na reverse nyo siya, Coach Dex. As someone na player turned coach, meron kaming gustong itanong na balikan natin yung brawl era rather, nung seasons 1 to 3. Ano ba yung mga natutunan mo as a player noon na kaya natin or makikita natin na nabago ngayong era?
Nung panahon kasi naglalaro ko, wala pa kasi talagang dedicated coach sa mga team namin. So, naglalaro lang kami kung ano yung na-experience namin sa rank game, hindi rin uso yung scrims. So, dati talagang brawl meta siya. Hindi kami tumitingin sa objectives, talagang patayan lang. So, nung pumasok yung season 7 to 11, doon namin na-appreciate na objective games pala talaga yung ML.
At nakita natin na nag-transition talaga by era ang ating mga laruan dito sa MLBB.
For sure, napakaraming development. We've developed a lot of strategies sa tulong ng ating mga coaches. And I think I'd also like to give commendation to the players. Demon Kite, you are the leader in terms of Lord kills after 2 weeks. Goes to show the dedication na meron ka for Season 16. You were talking to me about how hard it was nung week number 1. Anong nabago ngayon? Ano bang motivation nyo to make it 3 in a row para sa Aurora?
Yun, parang mas compose kami ngayon. Tapos nagpapawas lang kami sa mga
bagay na may improve namin in-game, syempre. Lalo na yung chemistry and connection namin in-game. Tapos, dito, yun lang so far, yun lang yung ginagawa namin. Talagang improvements lang overall.
What's important is they know what they need to work on, and they worked on that right now.
At syempre, nabanggit mo na din ng chemistry, which is, I think, nakikita na rin natin with your newest addition na si Light. Light! So far, from weeks 1, 2, and now 3, nakita ka namin na naglabas ng mga heroes. 6 pa lamang ang naililista namin. Ano pa ba yung mga aabangan namin from you?
Di ko alam kung ito na ba gamit ni Coach, yun ang gagamitin ko.
So, reverse lang din nila.
Uy, oo nga. Di ba, Coach, nung tumayo ka sa Turkey, parang may atlas kaming nakita. Makakita ba kami ng ganun later on?
Mas marami pa doon. Higit pa doon yung makikita nyo kay Light.
Mas marami pa, and I am definitely excited for what is about to happen. Once again, your winners, Aurora Gaming! What a performance from the Northern Lights, and just like what their fans have mentioned, they are seizing the win for the 3rd straight win.
We're so excited to see kung ano pa nga ba ang hinahanda nila dahil sabi nga ng mga coaches, depende sa mga nakakalaban nila ang kanilang paghanda.
Nothing but the top ang kanilang inaasam, but now we're gonna toss it back to our casters.
Thank you so much, Hans. Odin, again, congratulations to RORA there. Great to hear from them. Great to hear from the coaches. And also, again, they all want to go ahead and aim for the top spot here. Obviously, they've had some things to work on, but I would say RORA's looking pretty good here.
Yeah, I like how they were able to ask Coach Dexter, of course, with his past, being able to play a lot during the Brawl era over league, and that he acknowledged, yeah, at that point, we were just, whatever we played, man. And he sort of got like a bit of a flashback to that because of the lineup that they faced in game number 2. Game number 3, on the other hand, though, well, Edward, yes, he did get that massive setup to seal the deal, but he was a menace on this Lapu-Lapu. It was between the EXP, Lapu-Lapu, and the Phovius, whoever had the bigger impact, wins series for the team.
Even World Championship coach, who recently just got brought up to become an analyst, Coach Tic Tac of Team Liquid PH, throw back to Edward and say, yeah, he's one of the best Lapu-Lapus in the world. I'm not surprised that they allowed for this in the draft, because that's what that Esmeralda ban was for. It's a stroke of genius what Aurora did and said, yeah, y'all can have the Phobias. We know what we're getting into. Blue 4 and 5.
Yeah, it just worked so well. Again, there was a lot of these moments in these team fights too, where just this capability from Demon Kite is what continued to build up that snowball that they started early on, and it was almost in a form of Twisted Minds being like, we almost have to force these situations. Like, we have to force something to happen here, because they knew with their lineup and the pacing and that things were going, it would, if they weren't proactive, then they would have even got further behind. But it was crazy because they already did. There was like 13,000 gold difference by the end of the game, and it was just RORA really playing all in tune here in this game 3.
Yeah, I think, yes, Twisted Minds hasn't had like the 100% perfect record. They have dropped games, but this seems to be a little sickness of Twisted. If something goes terribly wrong around Turtle 1 to 3 in that time frame, it seems like they don't have it in them to mount that comeback. That it feels like if this wasn't the only time this season we're watching it, I'm like, what's happening? How come they're going to places they're not supposed to be? They're slipping. They're tilted.
And what's more, if you want to be the best of the best and beat the best of the best in this league, you have to learn how to pivot even in the late game.
Yeah.
Sure, you lose, you slip up. One might even say you tilt in the early game.
Yeah.
But if you can crawl back at the 18-minute, 19-minute mark, then you're still on the way to winning the game. You haven't seen Twisted Minds do that just yet. Maybe they haven't learned their ways.
I'm surprised because we haven't seen too many games yet get to that point where it's like that later game, and you get to that 20+ minute mark here.
Which one might argue is RORA's weakness.
It might be.
How cool would it have been if Twisted Minds did that?
Yeah. Twisted Minds did have that one pick for them that was able to turn things around in their, I can't recall who they were facing up against. Oh, there we go, Omega. When it was a SOD from Nausea coming from Lansu Uranus Flicker second skill to turn things around a la Innocent style in Malaysia up against CFU in the matchup, SRG versus CFU in M6. But they just couldn't do it here because, again, they couldn't find that window of time because with them slipping up, MP the King, Lansu, Kaloy being in the wrong spots at the wrong times, Nausea didn't have the time. It's like, I feel like there were times where Nausea was like, yo guys, can you just chill out a bit? Let me be able to salmon force, you know? Yeah, I know we're up against a Moscow, but I should be okay here. But then with the rest of the team falling so behind in items, Nausea could not get the ball rolling, man.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I feel like that was in some of the cases here where they did have the losses. That's where, you know, they weren't able to get Nausea where he's been before, you know, in weeks past here. So you can see it though. Dominkite especially, again, it was great to see that interaction where he was able to go ahead and save or keep alive or get the kill after they were trying to get Demon Kite. So the Kite brothers still strong synergy there, and BPI Rich Guy as well. 846 on the GPM, 11,561 gold. But that's the thing that Dominkite does. I think he's always been one of these focuses in the gold lane for RORA, where he's able to make big plays or just be there at the right time for the Moskov, for example, or the Harith like we talked about. So still great gameplay here.
Yeah, for Twisted Minds, I want to see them evolve past being a team really known for just taking control of the game by turtle 1 to 3 and then just running away with it. I want to see evolution, their next steps. Again, still one of the best teams in the league, undeniably. They were dominating in that game number 2, but that's because they dominated. We need to see them grow past the team who is known for dominating right out of the gate.
It's really that limit test for them, I feel like, for Twisted Minds. But before we talk more here, closing this out, we're going to throw it over to the Infinix mic check to see how this winning moment sounded for RORA.
Tan ka dalawa. Okay. Mamatay, bubis. Best na kaguya, hero niya. Kahit yung third nila. Mapapas mo ito. Puri yata ito. Flicker, kagara boy. Puri. Mamatay shot. Flicker. Dapat ka timing. Go. Nice. May top tayo.
May top.
Daw si Lansu. Pwede tayo mag-base lang. Sama. Ready, ward. Nag-console na pa. Tingin. Huli ka Lansu.
If I were the Lancelot and I was found in that position, I would not be as chill as Demon Kite was. Literally, I would be
just pure panic. Over there, in the end though, it was also chill from Edward. His exact call was, look at me.
Yeah.
He said that in Tagalog. He said, tingin sa akin, look at me. And then he just brings down the 4-man stun. Light follows up. Mind blowing. That was cool. That was really cool.
This is the synergies that we've been looking for, you know, from team to team. But Light being the new addition here for RORA, I feel like has really fit into this. But this is what we expected because these guys played together before in the past, before Light ventured off into the world. But now it seems like they have just synced up really well. Maybe they've hit a little bit of bumps at the start of the season, but they've clearly figured it out here. I love to see it. I know you guys did too. It was great to have 3-game series here for our first opening match of the week. Hopefully we get many more matches like this. It's been us, the Wee Bear Bros. We're going to throw it over to the Howl before we close out our first match. We still have a second match later, so we'll see you after this.
At nakita na nga natin ang resurgence ng Aurora in this week number 3, just getting off of their momentum. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin talaga mapigilan. That's why they are now on a 3-win streak. Pero, ang tingnan natin doon sa game na yun, ang ating natutunan ay huwag ibigay talaga yung lapu-lapu kay Edward. And I know that this is a given already. In fact, sa 5 o 4 na laro ng Aurora na merong lapu-lapu si Edward, isang beses pa lang silang natatalo. At sa 4 na wins na yun, yung majority of that is just Edward taking over the game. Ang maganda pa dito sa Aurora is na-shoot talaga nila sa kanilang composition yung lapu-lapu na yun. And apart from that, etong si Doming, parang naramdaman niya na bakit hindi siya kasama sa conversations ng best gold laner. Well, right now, for the past 9 games, napakaganda ng performance siya. In fact, bago mag-start ang series na to, at sinasabi natin sa gold laners, importante yung gold crab. Ang nangyayari, para sa kanya, ang nakukuha niyang average na gold from creeps or from gold crab is 143 na difference. At kung ikaw pa rin sa ibang gold laner na hindi pa nga nakakaabot ng lagpas 20 when it comes to gold difference dun sa pagkuha ng gold crab na yon, masasabi natin na si Domeng na talaga ay isa sa mga kailangan na i-consider sa magaling mag-lane na gold laners natin. And apart from that, ang RORA naman, kailangan ng aralin ng kanilang early game. They have to be studied. So far, out of the 9 games na nilaro ng RORA, 2 beses lang sila natalo sa kanilang early game. May mga games na natalo sila eventually or na-comeback dahil sa, even with a good start in the early game. But RORA, we learned na dahil maganda yung early game nila, it means that they also are drafting so well. Yan ang mga strengths ng RORA in the past 9 games that we saw them, and I'm sure na yun yung i-implement nila sa mga susunod pa. Sa ngayon, mga natin ang isa pang magandang matchup is Falcons going up against ONIC Philippines after the break. So huwag kayong alis, magbabalik ang MPL Philippines.
Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, kahit anong lane, we become the monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Get us to the top, no ifs, no buts, winning any game para to sa PIN, yes. Di mo matitinag aming boses sa new level. Nasa kalye man o mobile, you know I become a legend. Listen, open fire, we unite, we winners. But with pressure, like diamonds are made of. Switching the lane na parang gera, HP racing made a setup. Pagkakatang buhat ni Hilda, full dome SS parang Laila. Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas, yeah. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Pag nagsama-sama, just imagine what we can achieve. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Giving 100 on my all, cause we just cannot be defeated. We are unstoppable, immune and invulnerable. Ready ang equipment, lahat frozen, mala, crowd control. Pakita on the jab, east to the southeast. Taas ang matawa, proud and loud, cause every enemy we devour. Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas. Lakas, Pilipinas malakas. Kahit anong malakas, Pilipinas malakas. Face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite with the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite with the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, with the stars.
And welcome back. I know we had a little darkness there, but we're back here. It's match number 2 ahead of us. It's still us, the Wee Bear Bros. It's me, Naisu, Leo, and Renmar.
Hello.
To close out day 1 here of week 3. It's going to be an exciting match. If you guys just missed the last one, what happened in the last match?
We went all the way. Aurora took the victory 2-1 against Twisted Minds, who really showed some promise and introduced to us a hero that we almost forgot. In Khalid and Kaja, make that 2 heroes that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, it was Aurora sweeping the rug from underneath the feet of Twisted Minds with well, bang. Edward showing that he is still one of the Lapu-Lapu gods in MLBB esports.
I still consider, I've been pretty vocal about this, I think Lapu-Lapu is like my number 1 XP.
Why?
Either that or like number 2.
What's number 1 if not him?
Is it Uranus? Like who, like statistically, I don't know the stats, so like statistically, Renmar, who is the number 1 XP laner?
It's like CC usually.
Right now it's CC.
Let's forget CC and Lapu-Lapu's my pick.
I don't think you're allowed to do that. Real quick, more data, more GG coming your way. Experience the winning power of Smart's Only 5G and enjoy it with Smart's digital prepaid eSIM.
Smart, the simply reliable telco partner of the MPL. Victories you can count on.
And there's more. Did you know that men get 5 times more dandruff versus a women's scalp?
It's embarrassing.
Use Clear Men with triple anti-dandruff power for 100% dandruff-free hair because no one understands men like Clear.
I could use me some Clear.
Do you need? You don't, man. You have a nice, healthy head of hair and a healthy scalp.
That's how you maintain it.
That's how you maintain it, with Clear.
Ah.
So you know, power it up, Renmar.
Yeah, power up your dandruff scalp. Power up your dandruff scalp. Dandruff-free scalp.
Just supercharged with Clear.
Just supercharged with Clear.
I don't.
That is a healthy head of hair.
Power up a dandruff. How do you power it up, man?
Just do it. You just, all right? You just.
Oh, man, that got me. All right, well, grab the Clear.
We're professionals.
Oh, Renmar.
We can do this.
See, this is what happened, though. Before the break, you wanted to fight me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, now you're powering me up.
You just don't talk about his Falcons like that.
Yeah. We're going to be chill. We're going to be chill.
Speaking of his Falcons, they're going to be playing up next year. But again, I just want to go ahead and wrap it up. You know, the match we just saw earlier on for our first match of the day was great. It was great to see that limit test for Twisted Minds again. They were at the top of the standings. I think they technically should still be at the top. But even with the loss that they faced here, but RORA also getting that win inches them closer to the top because they were like right smack dab in the middle. So, and it also just go and showcased how even these different team compositions or strategies that both teams and both coaches brought to the table could be executed well. We're going to look at the standings here in just a second to see where those fell into place after that first match. And again, I think, yes, okay, it's RORA.
Yeah.
Now at number 1.
Yep.
So there you go.
After 4 matches. And they're on a winning streak.
Yeah. They've had some iconic wins.
Yep.
Already. And now we're going to be seeing a proportion of the bracket against the team currently in the bottom. Falcons! Oh my goodness. But, well, yeah, it's been tough. And looking at what the community has been saying online about Falcons, I am in one of those rare moments in my career where I'm like, starting to really get your point here.
You are.
Folks. Yeah. It's hard to be an advocate for what Falcons has been doing in-game, considering what they have shown. Very un-Falcons-like is what we've been seeing from them. However, on the other side, ONIC Philippines haven't had a perfect season, but they've been getting better and better. They've been on the up and up.
I think part of it, I don't know, any team that finds themselves in this position for Falcons, because it's always got to be someone. You know, it's always someone from the seasons where you're there at the bottom of the standings, you've gone through a couple of weeks now, you've gone through a couple matches, you're sitting there scratching your head, and even their fan bases are like, man, what is going on here? They're in their own form of basically a stress test. I think for both these teams, but especially for Falcons, just because when we talk about Team Falcons in general, we've always put them as, you know, the Titans of MLBB, the Titans of the league. They still are that, but it just seems like they have found this position where it's like everybody just maybe got better and they've had a very difficult time in finding their footing in our current era of MLBB.
The way I see this is Falcons is on the other end of the same stress test that ONIC found themselves post MSC, even pre-MSC, because they spent that month-long boot camp in Indonesia, and I'm pretty sure that changed the way they played. And even in their run in MSC, they went through some ups and downs, and now they've looked better than ever.
Yeah. ONIC have been vocal in the past about their behind-the-scenes, I want to call them issues, but the things holding them back behind the scenes, that they really need to find themselves again in terms of how they communicate and how they operate together as a team. And they have found themselves in a good footing. However, we're starting to see a little bit of kinks there. They were able to start things off very well with sweeps against Team Liquid and AP Bren, but then they dropped 2-1 to Aurora, unfortunately overshadowed by the fact that they picked a CC gold lane in game number 2, and that eventually meant that, you know, Aurora would take the momentum, bring back the Eve, and then be able to take the series. And it calls back to, well, that season when ONIC, in what could have been a perfect 13-0 run, picked up a Masha in the gold lane for Kelra.
ONIC beat ONIC.
Yeah, ONIC beat ONIC. So maybe it's like now that's the theme around ONIC. The thing holding ONIC back at times is just themselves, relationships behind the scenes. While for Falcons, it seems like it's how they play in the game, how they communicate in the game itself. So now it seems like they're going to be reintroducing Ferds into the mix here for this series, so that maybe they could find themselves with a little bit of new blood.
Yeah, the wild one.
They invoke the wild one.
They bring them out, man. Love this graphic, by the way. But yeah, Ferds, you know, we got to see a little bit of him. Again, he was regular season MVP in MPL Philippines Season 3. He was a champion in Season 3 as well.
And you know how well he fits into the Falcons brand of MLBB? He's also a national athlete. He played for Cebu, represented the country in the WEC IESF 2024, went as far as second place. He's a silver medalist, so he's made us proud. He fits in with the Falcon brand.
Yeah, and there's a reason why the Falcons decided to bring him into the mix. It seems like they trained a lot with him more, leading into MPL Philippines Season 16, and he was able to start things off really well, already showing himself as one of the prolific CC players in the league. On the other side, though, you're going to have to look at the center of the map for ONIC, who seem to have gotten a reinvigorated Super Prince, who, yes, again, is not a perfect track record, but he's been great so far this season.
And this is also great as he's pointing over here to the watch parties going on right now, the TT Racing home grounds and Cape at Tagpuan, Montalban. I butchered that one.
It works.
It works.
Half the viewers understood what you said.
Cape at Tagpuan, Montalban.
There you go.
How do you say Montalban? Is that right? Montalban.
There you go. I'm pretty sure if you told the driver to go there, he would figure it out.
Para po sa Montalban.
Yeah.
Does that work?
That would definitely cause people to stop.
So this is one in the south and then one in the east.
Yes.
So we got Metro Manila covered.
Hey, that's good. Again, enjoy the watch parties out there. You can see the ONIC players. They're looking forward to this match. So they're enjoying as well.
Kirk Luis.
Yeah, Kirk. Did he have a little...
Yeah, he had a little ONIC flag.
A little ONIC seizure.
Well, I don't know, man. I think I'm really interested to see how this is going to work for Ferds specifically. Maybe this is that little bit of something that needs to be changed here for Team Falcons. Again, I think there's been multiple things that they've had to work for, but this could be one of them. We're going to ask the community out there what they think, what their thoughts are. Who is the real Fanny God in MPL Philippines? Oh, this is, wow, we've got 6 questions here. A, ONIC King Kong. Is it going to be B, RORA Demon Kite? C, Falcon Kyle TZ? D, TNC Zyna? E, Omega Ryzen? F, DD Zapnu. I don't know where I would go with here.
There's just one correct answer here.
Is it?
He's a multi-generational talent. He's gone around the world and come back to prove that he is a true Fanny God. I'm a Ryzen guy.
Yeah, Ryzen.
Omega Ryzen, fam. Clean bean.
Really? He's clean now?
Yeah. He's many things.
I thought he was sneaky. I thought he was dirty. So
Yeah,
which one is
Sneaky
it?
Dean.
Sneaky Dean, Dirty Dean, Clean Dean.
He's a Fanny God.
He's a Fanny God. He's a Fanny God too. All right.
I would probably go, because I'm this is purely biased. I'm going with Demon Kite. I'm going B. I'm just, because, you know, my boy Demon Kite. How about you, Redmar?
I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards... We didn't see a lot of Kyle TZ Fanny games. This was tough for me, honestly.
So this is just genuine curiosity. Was DD Zapnu a Fanny God?
Yeah, that's the
in
thing.
his time?
He was good in the MPL in his short time here as a pro, but he's also done it as a content creator.
Yeah.
As an influencer, as a streamer.
Yeah, he was one of the dudes that you would look for videos of to learn how to play Fanny. Because he was the guy who was doing a lot of things that a lot of other people weren't doing with the Fanny, showing them how this hero, how you can really stretch the limits of Fanny back in the day, back in our day.
Yeah, what was that? 24 cables?
Was that a thing?
I don't know.
24 cables?
I'm just pulling them.
I can't even do 2, man. Like, there's been a couple times where I'm like, you know what? I got this cool Fanny skin. Because the game decided to give me one.
Yeah,
this was like the Spirant one, I think.
Yeah, the anime Fanny.
Yeah, so I was like, let me go ahead and try it. I tried it in ranked. Probably wasn't the best idea.
Tried it once.
Once and never again. I couldn't even 2 cable, man.
That's the thing.
I don't know how they do
it. Once. You should have kept going. That's how you get better.
Yeah, but, you know, I don't know. I just wasn't. I don't know. It's not one of the heroes for me. I'll leave it at that. I'm better at just throwing out Mystic Gushes.
Very specifically Mystic Gushes.
Yeah. Mystic Gushes.
Gushing.
Always gushing.
That's you.
That is so. In just a second here, we're going to go ahead and welcome out the teams for the matchup. And I don't know. I think I'm kind of excited to see this one again for ONIC Philippines, see if they can have those adjustments, because we've heard things about some of their scrims and some of the maybe surprises they have for us in store, but also for Team Falcons to see if they can adjust. So let's go ahead and welcome out ONIC Philippines and Team Falcons for the matchup.
Will we be expecting the unexpected from the Sonics? Here's Kirk, King Kong, Super Prince, Brusco, and Kellera. It's time for ONIC Philippines! The Falcons are looking to fly above their nest once more. Let them hear your cheer. It's Ferds, Kyle TZ, Few, Ogwen, and Super Marco. This is Team Falcons! To oversee and uphold the tournament's integrity, guiding us through this match are our marshals, Joshua, Chico, Patrick, and Jeff. Also joined by their respective coaches, it's Coach Why Not for ONIC Philippines and Coach Trevor for Team Falcons. Sonics, Falcons, let me hear you scream!
Okay, let's look at the lineup here for ONIC Philippines, Leo.
The Super Fam is looking good. Given that it's not a perfect season, they have lost at the hands of Aurora. I think what they've learned from MSC and the fact that they're still carrying the luggage of their loss in Season 15 here today means they're fueled by passion. They're fueled by their lessons, not their losses.
Yeah.
Their lessons. And I'm looking forward to how much tighter Coach Hayes and Coach Tony can make their run in Season 16.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. Also, if they get a little creative with some of the gold lane options again for maybe for Kelra here or not, depending on the draft, of course, because the adjustments have had to be made, but this is also for this lineup here. As the Falcons guy, Redmar, take us through.
I can say this is one of the few openly Falcons dudes out there. My sirs, I'm not mad, just quite disappointed. Last week, we made a big deal about how Ogwin and Kyle TZ seems like they got so much better with their communications and their timings in execution that it looked good in that game number 1 before everything crumbled for them. But now, if Ogwin and Kyle TZ, they're still going to be my focus. I don't want to see any creativity here from the side of Falcons. I want to see good old textbook MLBB, good sound drafts, good sound execution, and respecting the fact that you aren't completely dominating your opponents like you used to. Watch out for your entries and timings because that's what's been bringing the Falcons down recently.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the one of the cases where, yeah, just go back to some of the fundamentals, but the fact that Ferds is slotted in here into the XP lane might, I don't know if it would change things too much. I think Ferds being the wild one and what he showcased us in his debut, it almost allows them maybe it is a more nostalgic playstyle, because I feel like in a way, like when we saw Flat play, it seemed like just something wasn't being there, what we're so used to seeing from Team Falcons. So I don't know, Ferds is probably one of the answers that they brought, and that's why he's going to be playing here, of course, for this matchup. But again, we're going to have to see if it was just more than what we saw in his debut week. If he's also had time to go ahead and bring more to the table here for the lineup that Team Falcons desperately needs, because it's not just the XP lane. That's what we're basically throwing out there. It's been multiple things, multiple struggles and obstacles that Team Falcons has had to adjust from. So before our matchup, we're going to throw it over to a smart ping test to see how our players prepare.
Hello? 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 Tadi? Ano yung una nun? Di antara kao dana. Di antara kao dana. Di antara kao dana. Dana ba yun, boy? Saba huwahiyain. Pasok! Game na pre, pagod na ako. Salita ka nga, Mark. Mark, salita ka, Mark. Shoutout sa Animal Shelter. Mark Industry. Ano yan? Ano yan?
We got another reaction track.
Is that why they call him the wild one?
I think so, man.
That doesn't sound like he was wild. It sounded like he was in pain.
Well, I mean...
Well, he was smiling. Yeah. He had some smiles there.
It's a different kind of pain.
Smile through the pain. Isn't that what they say? Isn't that a saying? Yeah. Laugh through the pain?
Laugh through the pain, smile through the pain, anything through the pain.
Sounds like something with tattoo on your arms.
No regrets.
No regrets. Smile through the pain. You know, that's... But I think...
I hope he's not in pain. I hope he's not very concerned.
I will say Team Falcons is probably in a little pain, though, after the first couple weeks. So hopefully they can go ahead and bring that energy that we saw from the Wild One Birds and go forward for a win. But let's find out what that's going to be. White throwing it over to the Howl to hear what the Infinix keys to victory.
Welcome to the Howl. This is Wolf bringing you the Infinix keys to victory. Ang ating bakbakan yan is RORA versus Twisted Minds. But before that, ba't hindi natin pinag-usapan isa naman talagang hot topic, which is about the gold laners. Alam niyo ba na among of all the 4 gold laners na maglalaro ngayong araw, it's actually Nosha at Doming Kite na pinakamaganda ang stat line pagdating sa gold at the start of the match. In fact, ang average gold difference nila sa kanilang mga tapat ay 318 pabor kay Nosha at 447 naman pabor kay Doming Kite. Kung ikukumpara natin yan kay Kelra at Super Marco na negative para sa kanila ang gold start, mukhang magandang gold lane na battle ang makaabangan natin sa game number 1, sa match number 1. And now, going for the keys to victory. Para sa RORA, bigyan nila si Yue ng isang winning matchup at siya talaga mag-take over ng game. Nakita natin laban sa TLPH at pati na rin sa ONIC Philippines nung ginuha ng Aurora ang tipo mga Kimi or Eve sa mga moments na talagang sakto siya sa draft at talagang napapahirapan yung kalaban. Doon talaga nag-take over ng game. Ito si Yue. At in relation to that, kapag na-utilize at na-maximize sila ang tulong ni Demon Kite.
Yeah, I want to know exactly what the Infinix keys of victory are going to be for this, because I think a major point is the focus on what is Team Falcons going to do. I feel like ONIC, we've talked about them, we got to see them, you know, kind of fix things last week. I'm not sure if we'll get a glimpse of the Infinix keys to victory yet, but maybe we can start there in the jungle. Like, the biggest thing as Kyle TZ, has he had more of a difficult time in setting up into this meta?
The least I could say, which is, again, factual, based on his performance in Season 16 so far, is this isn't a Kyle TZ pop-off season just yet.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I mean, we got to see a glimpse of it maybe in their first series of the season, but then after that, it's just been a very mild performance for the Falcons. So let's look at their keys to victory before we look at ONIC. Focus on winning the first turtle via draft or rotation. It's a great way to start. We acknowledge their draft limitations and, of course, what they need to do in terms of their rotation so that they have a better lead. And they need to punish ONIC's tendencies to go for greedy drafts. When they have carries for Kelra, for Super Friends, and for King Kong, then there's a higher chance that you'll be able to punish the greed through there and take control of a map, one portion of the map, to eventually take control of the whole thing. While for ONIC PH, you can punish Falcons' bad box or the lack of a box formation. They have been quite messy with their team fighting so far. They seem to not have the good, how do I call this, positioning as they used to, especially Kyle TZ and Super Marco, who have been a little bit too early with their entries. They need to work on that.
Okay, so those are our Infinix keys to victory here for both the teams, and there's been a whole lot of focus. I've really been iterating this, and it seems to be popping up a lot, is that focus on the first turtle, that focus on the first objective, where we see a lot of teams, even off of that, are able to go ahead and switch into high gear through the early game to that mid-game transition and make things happen. So that's why we pay attention to that so much, on how teams establish themselves from the early rotation, potential to get a first blood, even if that means fighting for that Lith Wander, but then leading into, you know, juggling around that first turtle take. So that's one of the main things there.
If there's one thing Falcons has going for them, and this is one thing they can keep up with the Wild One coming back into the roster, is their turtle control.
Yeah.
If they can at least get Turtle 1, Turtle 2, even if they are trading aggressively on the map, at least they're getting the resources they need to contest for 3 and get a better mid-game power spike.
Yeah, I think so. Again, the mid-game power spike for some lineups that we've seen have been more apparent than others. And we haven't seen too many late games, you know, just yet. So maybe we get one here for ONIC Philippines. Are going to be on that blue side. Team Falcons here on the red. A nice 50-50 across the board. You can see some of the focuses like we've been talking about. That CC is being manned out, the Baksha. They might be trading for the YSS since that Lancelot and the Wan are taken out here, and we'll see what the rest of the bans are going to be.
Yeah. Okay, so Falcons are taking away some of the best carries, while ONIC are taking away some of the best picks of the Falcons, who can take control of the map. They needed to be better with that, so I like the approaches for these two. ONIC are looking at the utility, Falcons are looking at the carries that they can take away from King Kong to potentially force him into playing maybe an assassin that is still going to struggle. He still has a Hayabusa Enjoy as an option for him if he wants to, and then if ever, he might just have to swerve into playing the Fredrin if that's going to be the battle that we're going to be seeing. So ONIC's first pick with some of the power picks out. Oh, we're going to see a completely different first pick. Yeah. But Kalea is open for Brusco if they do want to head and lock that, and they do.
Good pick. Still Kalea being one of those options for a lot of teams that decide to draft it to go ahead and force the opposing team to pick up a couple Purifies to deal with it. But still, I still stand by the fact that if you want to make it the most successful and have the best time or environment, you got to have that great XP lane. So this is where, again, you want to see what Kirk brings to the table to allow that Kalea to go ahead and move around the map, not be the sole provider of, okay, we're going to go for this pickoff, and juggle around getting some of the Purifies out. So Team Falcons, they've got a couple options here, of course. Are we thinking they go with their jungle pick right off the bat here?
Badang or Gatot might be good pickups to answer the aggression of the Kalea. Because you would assume that ONIC wants that Farsa as well, because you want to combo with the Kalea. Oh, they steal it away!
Wow.
Huh? So instead of being able to give the combo, they take it, and then they get priority for first in the EXP lane, 81% in the win rate, 81% contention rate for Lapu-Lapu, 72% of the win rate for the season so far. So makes sense. With the CC gone, you're going to want to go for that. Now, for ONIC, they still have a lot of options for Kirk. They can still play into the Phoveus if they want to, or if they want to really flex the utility that they've shown in the past. Ooh, okay, no, they do get the Phoveus, but King Kong is going to get his hands on the Fanny. Falcons, they're either going to need strong single target or someone who could just straight up, as you mentioned, taunt. They got Gacha as an option. They can even pick up the Badang if they want to. Yep. Something that has given difficulty for Fanny, alongside pairing up with it very well. But if ever, they can also slot in a Kufra or a Cho if they want to for Ogwen. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the Kufra.
So I guess we're going to get the one of the, we just asked you guys, the community out there, and we're going to get to see King Kong play it. So for those of you that voted for King Kong, we'll see. Now there's the answer. They'll go ahead and pick up the Mozcom for Super Marco to lock that in for the first phase.
This works. Again, it's a gold lane pick that does well against the Fanny, and I trust Bulletproof Marco will be able to answer if push comes to shove. Falcons banning out the signature pick for Super Fritz, that Low Yi, given that he doesn't have a pick there yet. What else does Fritz have to choose? Oh, wow, I love that they're reading into it. We mentioned the Badang. They banned that out. Left out there is the Kufra.
If ONIC banned the Gata Gacha, they missed out on the Kufra pick. I feel like that would be the perfect pick right now for Ogwen. Lapu Lapu will be able to buy some time and deal damage, but the bouncing ball does provide so much utility for Falcons. All the dashes, Kalea's little jumps up in the air are also going to be blocked through that. It'll be harder for her to use her second skill as well to dash in, and of course it blocks the Fanny. Also even disrupts the Phoveus when he decides to fight in with the... when he's jumping on everyone's heads. So with taking away the...
Time to take the field.
Loyi and Bruno, I still think they need to respect a potential Fanny pickup for Super Friends because they could go full aggro here. No Fredrin now too, so we might see just a good old classic assassin matchup.
Hayabusa?
Yeah.
Hayabusa probably?
Yeah, probably Hayabusa Fanny, unless Falcons decide to show us a new jungler, new tank fighter jungler. Oh, no, Akai is perfect!
Akai is so good.
Yeah, just pick up Akai now! When you can save the Akai pick for 5, because you still have to wait to see if ONIC are going to pick up the Valentina. Because if the Valentina gets picked up by ONIC, then it's going to not be as perfect. It'll be soft countered and give more headaches to Falcons. Kufra Akai, last 2 picks, let's go.
Yeah, Kufra Akai. If they got Kufra and Akai too, they would be protected really well. They're going to go Joy though.
They don't want to risk it.
They don't want to risk it.
Opening Red 5, waiting that long is just too costly for Falcons.
Yeah.
I get the risk, and at the same time, instead of trying to counter into the jungle, at least they're gonna fight damage with damage. Because of the dive-heavy nature of the Fanny, Phoveus, and Kalea, the Joy also could mean that Kyle TZ might actually have easy access into the backline if Brusco messes up his timing. We talked about the Selena. Selena does get brought up. I think some of the best picks gone here for Kel. He can still just play the Harith here or Granger, but with the Joy on the other side, I'm kind of turned off with the idea of a Granger. Ooh, why not pick up the Finals MVP skin? Well, we're not gonna see it just yet, but it's his hero.
One of these days,
it'll be there eventually. I like it, man. I like this lineup from ONIC Philippines. I think they're putting a lot into the Fanny Beatrix though, but same thing. You get the Selena still up here for Super Friends. One of the players that plays the best Selena, I would say, in the league here. So for Falcons, what's that roaming option going to be? Are they going to just go with the Kufra?
Please.
Confirm.
Oh, they go
okay, that's fine too. That's fine too. You're going to be able to invade the wall. Also forces out some dashes there. It could provide some separation. It does provide an extra wall for Fanny to work with, but with a dive-heavy composition of ONIC, if they're not careful, one great ultimate from the Grog is going to mess them up bad.
Unfortunately, though, it's just not as effective at clearing traps anymore.
Yep.
He's just like... Well, I mean, he could still spot them out, but yeah, he's not as good anymore.
He has better crowd control, though, if in case ONIC does dive him.
Yeah. Grog's been interesting. I think he's slowly getting more popular, of course, here in the league and just around the world right now. We take a glimpse here once again. Like I was mentioning, Team Falcons is going to have those 2 Purifies to go ahead and try to help them out against that Kalea. And this Phoveus also was a great answer to complement that.
How often does this happen? There's triple cores on both sides.
It's expensive, isn't it?
It's less than it's expensive. It's just more of these fights should be decisive. If ever someone gets caught, bodies are dropping.
Well, that's what we're looking forward to. Again, let us know which team you're leaning forward for Game 1 here in this best of 3. Will it be ONIC Philippines or will Team Falcons start the rise to soar back up to the heights here as they need this win, sitting at the bottom of the standings and looking for a change by bringing in the Wild One Ferds.
Okay, so they're going to be leashing for King Kong. Ogun was not able to steal away the purple buff, so I think he had the right tools too. well, with all of the variables on the field right now, this is actually a very close game that will be determined a lot by the execution. So we can look back at the previous series, look at the timings of Ferds' Lapu-Lapu and the Phobius of Kirk. If any one of them get a little bit too greedy with initiating the fight around the turtles, the first, second, or third, that could be something the other team can capitalize on. So we're looking at the EXP laners right now.
Brusco coming in, plus an arrow from Prince. The trap from Pew forcing him to hit that Purify and Winds My Wings out. That's a TKO in my book.
Yeah, that was just a little bit too perfect by Brusco because he was right outside the range of the turret to be able to dish out the basic attacks.
Yeah, you'll see this. They are just going to put some pressure here in the jungle. Owen?
It's a big knock-up onto him, and he gets taken down. 2 kills so far here. Well, 1 true kill, almost got another in Birds. This is rough for Falcons.
Yeah, at least it was Ogun that was taken down and not Kyle TZ. ONIC Philippines couldn't continue the invade into the orange side buff, but that was a right call by ONIC. Again, Brusco and Super Prince are really setting the tempo here. Great aggression and showing the Falcons that farming is not going to be easy for them.
Yeah, so part of this, again, even though it's that early kill for ONIC, they'll give them that minor advantage in this turtle. Turtle's up now. See how Team Falcons goes and plays this. It looks like they're going to scrap it out.
Very deep. Where's the flicker? No, going nowhere. In comes Spew. Does not have the level 4 just yet. Blasting Brusco. Gets it now. Feathered airstrike catches an arrow. In comes the wild one. Gets the tail end of that ult on a Kirk. 2 kills over the Falcons.
Exactly what we were talking about. A little bit too greedy. King Kong.
King Kong looking for the steal. Gets it. And gets away with it too. ONIC with a turtle steal.
Man, he was like, guys, hold on. I want to get my buff. Then he swings on in and takes the turtle.
Made that look too easy. That was just a straight up red tree battle loss by Kyle TZ. Unfortunately, because for Falcons, they were able to punish the greed of Brusco and Kirk. Yes, you could say that they were providing info, they were zoning out, but they were in there just a little bit too deep. But King Kong getting that turtle should not have happened. Falcons really need to recalibrate.
Yeah, so looking at this, again, it's pretty much an even game, at least in terms of the economy, but you know, those little things, those little moments like that could set you back here on some of the approach. So there's still control, I would say. ONIC Philippines holding on to what they can, pushing where they can. Looks like I want to make a play down here, but Super Marco's going to be relatively okay, and this is why you picked up that Moskov to play against this Fanny. Gives you a little bit of that breathing room just in case they try to make a play under the turret.
Hey. No clear advantages just yet. Quite a good trade there in the bottom side of the map. Ferds and Kirk waiting for their timing. Let's go!
Big knockup plus a tsunami slam. A defensive response from Few. Not going to do well for his roamer. Free kill for ONIC.
Ogren has had a tough, not week, not day, season 16 so far. Good invade by Kyle TZ, but he needs help.
Oh no. Does he get it? King Kong still secures the purple.
Did he secure? Okay, so he secured it, but Kyle TZ jumped in. So at least Team Falcons is doing what they can. You know, they might lose Ogwen a couple times just because of this setup too, this composition, but if they can go ahead and keep things from getting too out of control, that's the best case scenario. This next turtle node coming up in 10. Kyle TZ will go ahead and grab his purple and get into position up to this point while King Kong spends his time down bottom. They're not going to be in a rush for this, but it looks like if they can go ahead and just set things up with the double buffs, they'll make it happen. Brusco starting this up, given the information here, and so we'll see. Arrow's going to land. Yeah. Little shot there from Super Prince.
Yeah,
he took
a little bit too much damage there. A small advantage here for Falcons. Small, but they might be able to make something work with it. Ferds needs to win big here for Falcons, but Kirk is in a really good spot. Good thing he's the one actually holding the turtle. Ogun tries to separate it, and it's going to get reset. So the angles that are being held right now should actually be held. Good call by...
Tsunami Slam finds one, and they pop Ogren once more. Mind you, SOD's gonna hit onto Brusco. Look at this view. Zoned out. King Kong takes down Idol ng mga kids, and that's already 2 out of Falcons' equation. And Kirk goes in deep. Scrambling Falcons. There's no way they're gonna get this. Another turtle to ONIC.
The Falcons straight up outplayed. Even though the SOD by Super Marco hit, they just wouldn't be safe for him to enter there. With Ogwen getting taken down very quickly. I don't think Ogwen expected that Brusco is immediately gonna go for it. King Kong had easy access also to the back line where Few was with the feathered airstrike. And Falcons are falling apart. ONIC are taking them apart little by little.
Yeah, there's And when it looks like, Team Falcons is able to go ahead and fight some of these, it's just like they can't really find those angles that they're looking for. Now, Super Marco, he had to do what he had to do. This is what he's gonna, his job is gonna be on this Moskov. If Team Falcons is losing those fights around the objectives and everything else, then he can just push across the map and hope to scale up on this Moskov. But even so, Calra's been doing the same thing. And Brusco, it looks like Kyle Teasy. Okay, gets spotted out. So good defense here, basically, from ONIC Philippines.
He's going to be able to spot out Brusco there. See if they can win the trade bridge. Yep, once the Super Marco was able to get that crab coin. So Falcons will have to double down on just being able to farm up through Marco. Despite the losses Falcons has taken, ONIC Philippines hasn't been able to build that crazy a gold lead. However, they are winning through map control, and the fact that the center of the map has been dictated by Brusco and Super Friends for the majority of this game so far.
Yeah, when you get into this, I think even down to this next turtle, ONIC Philippines could just get it, and I think Team Falcons might be in a better position to just go ahead and wait for the Lord fight. Oh, Kyle
gets caught 1v1. Was not expecting King in that bush.
That's rough, man. He's 2 levels behind now, too.
Yeah, that was just all King Kong. And if you have any doubts about King Kong heading into Season 16, dude, he is so back. He has been so sharp this season. Yeah, ONIC lost to Aurora last week. You cannot deny that King Kong has been on point. And now with this Fanny, yeah, Falcons looks like they are going to be at a tough position in this, considering that now they don't have a main answer for it.
Super Marco clicks the SOD, tries to get Kelra, takes him down, serves up a kill, but he will not survive. Brusco gets it. The punish from the Super Fam. The trade. Few for Brusco. 2 for 2.
The 2 for 2 trade. Super Friends jumps in, does a little bit of damage to Ferds, but man, I think they got everything they wanted to be able to transition in this turtle too. So Kelra, unfortunately, get caught by that Spear of Destruction, but there wasn't much they could do. I think they converted what they could, and they'll get them this objective as well.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate by Ogwen. He had a wall set up right beside him and still somehow missed the tectonic charge. That would have gotten a big knockup.
He might go down once more. Another kill served up to King Kong. 6-0-0. Kyle Teasy looking to punish. It's Kirk. He finds in that little street. And it's not going to be enough. Still, Falcons, they feel this lead building up, almost 3,000 gold.
Yeah, good thing First was able to time that Raging Slash very well so that he gets CC immune so that he doesn't get stunned up by the arrow of Super Friends. Looking at the items right now, both on the way to... Blade Armor is going to be the play here for Ferds. Dreadnought, War Axe, Dominance, Ice, second item. Oh, I like how Kirk has actually been building components, not full building any items just yet, so he's able to maximize the defense.
Kyle almost got cornered there. The SOD serves up to his teammates. The Tsunami Slam. Brusco falls. King Kong without a fifth of a tail. Kyle Teasy gets taken down by Super Prince. Eventually, the damage on him does pay off. Kirk going in. Kirk versus 4. Flickers back out. The Rampart put up, plus the swing. Still survives. Ferds and Ogwen want to finish the job. Won't be able to do it. Infernal Pursuit puts him in. Damage. Down goes Ogwen. King Kong gets severed between the nub and gets away. Marco couldn't get him down.
Wow, what a team fight though. And Team Falcons was able to do at least something in that one.
Yeah, impressive scramble. Few not going to be able to steal away King Kong.
King Kong takes a couple of salvos. Does not fall for the bait. Ferds was nearby.
Little by little, Falcons waking up. Ferds, no death just yet. Super Marco with the 4 assists. Only that 1 death, and we saw in that long stretched out sequence. Puts him at around 1,000 and floating. 800 to 1K against Kelra. Kelra, I like the path that he's going for. Decided to go for the Magic Blade. Now he's going to be going into the Rose Gold. Dominance Eye is the only full component built up there for Ogwen. Oracle only for Brusco, but no wonder he's been able to jump a lot. Double cooldown.
Here we go. They're trying to corner Ogwen again. Now it's King Kong going for grab the purple. Might get punished. Turret shot. Dodged. Kyle Teasy. I'm thinking he's once been twice shy. He's not all in on taking down King Kong.
Man, if they do though, that's going to be a shutdown of gold that they need here for Team Falcons.
That's a handsome pinata.
It is. Hopefully they can grab him because this Lord is up now. And with this lead, ONIC Philippines will go ahead and have control of it. This is going to be a challenge for Ferds. I know he just did pick up the Blade Armor, I think it was, and he's going to go ahead and have to be helping Ogwen be that front guy here for this objective. You can see still Super Marco is down on the bottom side. That's the best thing you can do, push that in. And even for Super Marco, his damage is respectable. So that's why now we're seeing this change of concept of like these approaches to these fights where it's like, all right, we can't just blatantly throw ourselves in there. But if King Kong does find a target, like we've seen him even do in Ogwin, he shreds through these tankier heroes.
Okay, they're trying to get information. I don't believe Brusco and Keller were able to show themselves in the lower portion of the map. They allowed the minion waves to just come out. Super Marco will be joining in the fight. Or will he?
Uh-oh.
ONIC have already begun it. I think this Moskov needs to make a call whether or not he's going to join the fight or not.
This is an odd angle to come from as Super Marco. Brusco goes in for the flicker. Tsunami Slam. Plus the bombs away. Bender strike. Ogwin's not going to be able to land a tech charge. Few gets taken on the back line. 2 out of Falcons already. And King Kong still going hunting. Kyle, where you going? 1v1 again. 2-0 between these two junglers, and now Birds, previously unkillable, now gets shut down by the gold standard.
What an arrow to clean up the 4 bodies there from Team Falcons, and now they'll get the Lord off of it.
ONIC fought that incredibly well. Brusco has been on point on this Kalea. His timings alongside with whomever. Kirk, Prince, King Kong, Kelra. As long as there is someone who can follow up with this surprise flicker initiation, Tsunami Slam, ONIC are able to commit the play. And even though First did a great job of zoning out Kelra in the back, ONIC were able to recover, take down the front line of Falcons real quick, and eventually win the Lord fight.
Off of that, I don't know if Team Falcons is actually prepared for this defense. I know they should be okay in terms of having a Moskov and then a Farsa. Their defense is going to be pretty good, but they should at least lose the shields here pushing into this. I think the biggest thing is avoiding those arrows and the potential of just a forced fight here from the outside of the base. So there's the charge into the mid. Oh, King Kong?
Birds, 1v1. King Kong playing with fire here. Oh, it was all just to distract away. ONIC failed to take down that mid tier 3. All inhibitors still standing for Falcons.
Yeah, SOD doesn't hit. Few gets bitten by the traps, and ONIC can honestly just play the slow, patient game here, unless Brusco decides to, you know what? Let's pick off someone yet again. I'll flicker, I'll Tsunami Slam.
Yep. Okay, there's an arrow again. They're trying to hold on to these base turrets. Feathered airstrike dropped down. They lose the top one. There's the bottom, mid to follow, unless Team Falcons holds on to it. So ONIC might just go ahead and be like, we're happy with that. Let's go ahead and recuperate from here. A lot of these arrows, man, from Super Prince, like I was saying, he's one of the best Solina players right now in the league.
Yep.
Able to go ahead and find these angles, find these setups, and even just close off kills if they turn into that. So I'm not sure if there's much more that ONIC can do unless they go ahead and just utilize the Beatrix to take a couple shots on this turret to finally take it down. But Team Falcon's really desperately holding on to that.
Yeah, at that point, that's just gonna... That's a hair of damage. Even if they don't have the minion waves, or when the minion waves finally comes in, that's just gonna be one hit.
Oof.
Even Counter doesn't need the minions there, but it should be done. Oh, they separate.
ONIC might go ahead and get this. There's a Tsunami Slam, but the Rampart able to stop it. The defensive flicker from Kirk keeps him alive. Falcons clap back, protecting that inhibitor in mid.
Wow.
Yeah. And I like how ONIC didn't dive too deep into that. They operated that little skirmish with the knowledge of, hey, we're up against a feathered airstrike of you. We don't really have a clear angle to stop him. So yes, even though we got a good initiation, we can't go all in on helping Brusco out there, because if we do, then Falcons might be able to turn it around. So it's a good thing that ONIC Philippines are still respecting what a few can bring to the table as is Farsa. King Kong now did bring out an Athena's shield. So that means when he's going to be going up against Kaltizi, Few, he should be able to survive way more hits, live a little bit longer. King Kong has been a problem all game, and he will continue to be a problem for Falcons unless they take him out first.
I'm really wondering if this is going to be in a position where Team Falcons can actually contest this next Lord take, or if it's better if they just buckle in. King Kong, you know, he's looking at Few. He's going to get spotted out, though, so his plan was foiled. So now, look at this. The Lord is going to be blitzed down. Conceal's going to be used.
And Kelra does secure it. Kaltizi crossing the bridge there. Thought he was going to find someone. And it looks like ONIC looking for the punish first. Blocks the entry. Tsunami Slam on the open again. He's left it. No man finds King Kong. But King Kong able to cable out before it's too late. Survives with just a fifth of his health left.
King Kong is just way too fast. He knew what would be happening. seems like Few was a little bit too slow to release a trigger on that feathered airstrike as well, but King Kong 902 has been perfect.
Oh, right now into the base they go. The Lord is up there. Team Falcons trying to clear things out. Super Marco will clear the waves quickly on the Moscow, but here comes King Kong.
Inhibitors all down. Feathered airstrike by Few. This is a sign of desperation for Team Falcons, but it looks like they've had it all under control. The base still stands. The waves have been cleared. Lord has been fell. Falcons still breathing.
I don't think there's an angle here for them to end. An arrow does land.
Ogun was already there. Somehow it did. Ogun.
Another flicker. Tsunami's lap takes down Kyle. SOD coming through. Kelra still alive. Just barely as he takes down Few. And that's 2 out of Falcons. It seems to be a pattern. Down goes Marco as well. It's all coming crashing down. ONIC have shot down Falcons from the sky, scoring the victory. Game 1.
And the Super Fam will come through Game 1. They forced it, and Team Falcons couldn't respond. The tough one for the Falcons.
Signature and vintage Super Family. That is just too damn clean by ONIC all throughout. Not, again, it's not perfect, but it's close to it that you can overlook some of the little things that didn't go their way and just look at all of the great things they did right. One of the best qualities of ONIC in their peak absolute prime, where it looks like it was just 5 dudes who know what they need to do as individuals, and they barely need to talk to make it work as a team. That is how that game looked like for ONIC.
That's why I always like to hear their comms. You know, when we do get like the mic check for teams like ONIC, it's very clean. And their gameplay here was very clean itself. I think it is perfect that we had that community poll question about the Fanny, because I think for a lot of people now, they're like, damn, okay, King Kong is fantastic on the Fanny. And it's funny how even though he was like deathless, I can't remember exactly what he ended at, if it was 10-0 and whichever, but he knows how to play that line on the Fanny. I think that's what the most prolific Fanny players are able to do. They are able to go ahead and dominate at a certain point, but then they pull back here too and kind of bob and weave in. And this is our MVP, of course, King Kong for Game 1 on the Fanny. So it was 9-0-4. But man, even with that, like there was some close moments where you thought he was going to die and he gets out. Again, this is just a mastery of the hero that King Kong has here.
Yeah, the first blood that he was able to dish out, where it looked like he was just cabling on one side, maximizing his spin so that every time he'd cable through that grok, he'll just melt Ogwin down. That really set the tempo and gave us a teaser of what kind of Fanny game we'll get from King Kong. Very surgical. I did not see a waste cable at all, and this is the one I was talking about.
Yeah, this even this early on, man, like when he gets that turtle, kind of gets out of there, this was when I feel like things started to fall apart early on in the game for Team Falcons, because there really wasn't that moment where you got to see their lineup, so to speak, like work. You know, it was more so of, push on the offside with the Moskov.
It felt like Falcons needed everything to be perfect for them to get the ideal outcome. And a lot of this, I'd say 60-70% of the game was Marco farming in the long lane.
Yeah.
And when it came down to it and they had to defend, he still wasn't ready. That's what was dangerous, because all the while he was farming, Kelra was doing the same thing.
This was not the greatest game for Ogwin on this grok, while King Kong just had one of the greatest games on this Fanny with a perfect game. Again, when you just time everything so well, when you're up against a lineup that doesn't really have a lot of tools to answer you, if you're aggressive and you can read the map perfectly, you are going to mess up the opposing jungle. Kaltizi was messed up by King Kong in 3 crucial scenarios where it looked like it was just King Kong reading the map, expecting, okay, Kaltizi's going to be here, and then taking him out solo.
Yeah, it's weird how it did seem like that. Like Super Marco had all the time to farm up, but then it just didn't work in the timing, I guess, of this game.
It's one thing to say that your gold lane had an okay time, but if it comes at the cost of the rest of the map, that's a bad trade.
So I don't know, would it have been different if it wasn't the grok? Because I feel like Ogwin was, like even early on, he was just being shredded on through.
Here's the thing. After your 3rd or 4th death, you could still say it's okay because I'm the roamer.
Yeah.
And you're still just buying time for everyone else to get there. But when it's time to go, when it's your time to initiate and get the kit in that you were drafting for, he even missed the mark on that. He hit
the slams.
Just maybe one tech charge. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else was just a random swing or a rampart that even cost his own team. So I hate to just put the blame on Ogwin, but his grok just wasn't it. Not in this game.
I mean, that was one of the key to victories. Focus on winning the first turtle via draft or rotation. We did not get that from Falcons. First rotation leading up to the turtle was ONIC making the right call, invading towards the orange side of Falcons, and then shredding that grok. Again, I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but if you think about what if that was a Kufra, well, at least that bouncing ball would have stopped King Kong's momentum a little bit, make ONIC think twice about taking him down. That grok pick was the first one to go down at the hands of that Fanny.
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering. That's why I was in alignment with you when you were mentioning the Kufra in the draft, because, you know, we've seen grok work well, but again, it was just he was just a big sponge. Like, he was just there, you know, to tank up a lot of the damage. Maybe it also would have been in a position where if they had the Kufra, for example, and then you could also switch into this mode where you're trying to set things up. I feel like the grok just kind of struggled in being able to do that. But then also you have to credit Brusco, man. Like I was saying, Brusco on the Kalea. The Kalea is open. Brusco is probably going to take it because he's able to go ahead and set things up so well for the team, or even get the Purifies out that we saw that Team Falcons had. You can see 900 even GPM here for King Kong.
Yeah, you know, I would not have been mad or surprised, and I don't think a lot of people would have been mad or surprised if King Kong somehow wasn't the MVP in this game and then they gave it to Brusco instead, because he really saw the tempo. The fact that he knew when to use the Flicker Tsunami slams at the right time, know that Ogwin, once he's taken out real quick, force reactions out of Falcons, that's going to be good. They only had like one mistimed sequence, yet still somehow King Kong and the rest of ONIC Philippines were able to walk away with it. The very first turtle that King Kong was able to steal away. That came from off of the back of Brusco and Kirk being a little bit too deep. But then after that, you see Brusco and Kirk recalibrate, and then Brusco even being more perfect with his timings at this Kalea. It was mint.
And I expect ONIC to ban the Baksha going into game 2 still, because that's what allowed for this Kalea to just run roughshod.
And if you guys want to show off your Kalea skills, you can showcase your esports skills and passion for gaming by organizing your own local tournaments through eProject, esports for everyone.
Participants in this program will be provided with special access to tournament modes, in-game items, diamonds, and more.
Yeah, all you need to do is visit the MPLPH website for more information on how to apply.
So come on and join us, and we've got more for you guys. This is something special, it's new, and it's another year and potentially a new world champion for something special for you guys. I know a lot of people are excited about this. Renmar, I know you're excited about this too. A new potential for what kind of new world champion?
Yep, it is another title coming up for this year. Another way to become a world champion.
Ooh, go, go.
He knows what it is. He knows what it is.
It's go.
He knows.
And anyone and everyone can now enter the MCGG Rising Stars. It's a new in-game feature where players can participate to win a world champion title. Well, so you can do this within the game.
You can be the MCGG world champion.
Yep.
I already have one topic favorite.
What?
KB. Our brother KB from Indonesia.
Brother KB.
He won't even cast it. He will play.
He should play. The man built up, what, 500, 700 stars while he was in Riyadh, and he's still climbing.
Could he actually, like, technically, that's actually a good question. Can we join?
Yes, we can.
It said anyone.
Anyone and
can
everyone.
join. Anyone can join. It begins through the game itself, actually. You can sign up. If I'm not mistaken, there's not a lot of restrictions. There's barely any restrictions on it, so that you could be the MCGG World Champion, you know?
I wonder
Just
how
believe in yourself.
that works. Is that eventually going to land into like a offline event or something?
Yeah, we actually got to tease that a little bit. So just watch out for it. It's gonna be a big online aspect first, if I'm not mistaken, which will eventually cultivate into. I don't know. I'm gonna
have to start playing more MCGG.
You should.
Gang.
You are looking at Quezon City's number 45, a 1-1 commander user here.
Oh, so you get rank based on the commander?
Yeah, very similar.
Isn't the new commander? Wasn't it like Dyroth or something? Didn't he just come out?
I only spam 1-1 in Moscow, so
yeah. The new commander doesn't matter for this 1-1 and
Moscow
main.
What do you play?
I've yet to dive in.
Oh, really?
If I go into something, I go in 150%.
That's true.
So y'all best believe if I do touch MCGG, it's GG.
He's going for that world title.
Yeah. If you follow,
I'm anyone.
If you follow my stories on IG, even Professor KB's stories on IG, we play MCGG while we're doing our power walk 1 hour cardio sessions on the treadmill.
To be fair, when you told me about that you learned that from KB, I actually did that. So I've played a couple games. I just haven't deep dove in. Is that right? Deep dove in.
Yeah.
Dove in.
I haven't dove into it. But I'll tell you who I play because no one asked me my commander. So my commander is Lancelot, but also known as Old Remy before.
He's functionally Old Remy.
Remy.
Yeah, I know Remy from.
Remy,
I know Remy from
the older version.
He's a little mouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's actually cool because if you played the older version and then you like play the current one, they brought them over. So like you can use the old skit. You know, it's cool. Lancelot's cool. I might try. I might actually be convinced now that we have this MCGG World Championship.
I love how we got so excited about MCGG here. Just saying.
Why wouldn't we? We're anyone and everyone.
It's magical.
No, but I'm sure there's people out there that are actually willing to join that and expand their horizons. Mm-hmm. Just like you did, Renmar.
Yeah.
You know,
I constantly expand.
All right, let's see if our players can expand here to get us to a game 3. We want to expand the series. I'd love to have another 3-game series here upon us.
As a Falcons guy, we might not get that.
Renmar.
Again, I always remind my Falcons guy status because I don't want people to believe I'm a Falcons hater. I'm not a hater of Falcons. I'm a Falcons guy.
You're just that blunt because you care.
Yeah, I am blunt because I care.
It's at the point where y'all know the meme of this stick guy poking something with a stick and saying, do something.
Yeah.
It's at that point.
It's been a week of that.
They do things. They need to do a lot more. Is what I'm asking for here.
It's just such a weird, thing to see Falcons there. Like let's be real here. To see where, being a Titan, what's that saying? No king rules forever, my son.
Yeah.
No.
You know that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there, but I mean,
that's Lion King.
Yes, I guess. Said by Mufasa.
Pretty sure that was Scar.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a reason, man.
What's the reason?
Look at Liquid. Liquid have had their ups and downs, a first-round playoffs exit in 14, to come back at it in 15, to win it all, to win MSC eventually. And they've had the same lineup when they were going on that little big Titan battle phase.
That's true.
Against Falcons, where they were going all over the world. They were getting pounded by Falcons. Liquid eventually rose up and started pounding the rest of the world in the league. So now, it's like,
what a pounding.
Falcons... This is why I said I was starting to be in line with the community, reading all the comments. One of the very rare occasions where I am really starting to see or am in agreement with what everyone sees right now. The missed timings of Ogun and Kyle TZ, Few not being as sharp as he once was. If they do not acknowledge it, and I'm pretty sure they acknowledge this personally.
Yeah.
Clearly, they know what they need to work on. But it just hasn't been translating into the final execution of the game, which is so frustrating.
I know, we know, you guys know, and I'm sure there's some frustrated people out there, fans with Team Falcons. We'll see if they adjust to get things under control here for Game 2's draft as we dive in. They are going to be on the blue side. You know what? They're going to respect ban the Fanny. They take that out. Also the Phobius. This could leave things open maybe for Kyle TZ. He just wants to go for the Lancelot if he can grab it.
Does ONIC pull the double ban the way Falcons did in the first game, wherein it's Lancelot, Yisun, Shin, and then that means Baksha goes untouched because this has to be the Zhu Shin.
Yeah, I think they're going to be operating around that trade. I still think, though, that if ONIC decide to give the... playing around the Baksha trade, if I'm ONIC, just straight up ban out the Baksha. I am more willing to see ONIC give the Yisun Shin, because they will still have more answers to go to have that. They will not have a lot of answers if they were up against the Baksha.
Yeah, if that's the case.
Yeah, because if you ban the Baksha, you get YSS for Falcons. 100% you're going to be rushing Kalea alongside ONIC, and then you can rush maybe even your Harith alongside that, or another jungle pick already. Most likely ONIC might want to play into the idea of a Fredrin, but then they can just go for... there we go. They ban the Baksha, YSS. ONIC can pick up the Joy even later. or the Hayabusa for King Kong.
Because I saved
See?
my nation
Unexpected.
from falling apart.
I think ONIC go CC or Lapu Lapu here alongside who's the other one I mentioned? Kalea. Yeah, just go show your main utility
I think
already.
Kalea CC probably would be good. Again, Brusco, like, anytime that Kalea is open, you might as well grab it. That's a Lapu, though. So they go with the Lapu.
Kalea Lapu.
There we go. Yeah, Kalea Lapu.
So with the Kalea Lapu locked in there, Falcons gets their mid laner. I think the 100% they need to steal away the Selena, yes, thank you, from Super Friends, so they'll pick that up for a few. And then roam later, gold now. I think they have to pick up the Harith. Something with the Purify, they can't go long range. There we go.
There's a Selena.
Yeah. So either Harith or Granger is going to be fine. If they go Moskov, I will actually be quite surprised here. Huh?
Is this are they leaving this to the flex? Like, is there any world where we see Super Marco play this?
Very few times have we seen an early Ruby. And I think that was ONIC who did it last.
Okay, I think they needed to lean into the potentially, again, I'm agree, there is a potential that this could be flexed into the roam, or maybe even next we already saw it so far this season. Considering that they're playing around the Selena in the mid, yeah, Ruby makes sense. And they're going to be using that as a pressure pick against either the Hayabusa or the Joy. I think ONIC will want to surprise and consider picking up the Fredrin. Not the biggest strength of ONIC and King Kong. But if it's not that, then yeah, they're just stuck with the Joy or Hayabusa.
They might need to rush mid.
Yeah. No, Hayabusa.
Uh-oh. So by exposing the pick on King Kong and conceding to the fact that they're not very good with utility junglers, I expect Falcons to attack choices on Super Friends now.
Yeah.
Because so far, Kalea doesn't have a good combo yet.
They 100% need to respect ban the Kagura. And then
Farsa.
We save the Farsa.
Or Lo Yi. So I think
Farsa, Lo Yi are all options.
ONIC are giving Falcons here the catch-22. It's like, you pick one of these, or you just give us all of these.
Yeah. That can work. Now, for these bans for the second phase, you can see that XP can be tightened down a little bit here. What does that leave open then for Ferds? Since he's going to be going against a Lapu.
If ONIC ban out the glue, not much is left for Ferds, honestly.
Yeah.
They might even want to consider putting the Ruby in the EXP lane or put an Esmeralda in the EXP lane for Ferds.
Hey, Arlo is open.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. That went over my head.
Yeah, since Phoveus is banned out, like it's ripe pickings for Arlet.
That's so much crowd control too, you know? Having the Arlot with the Ruby.
So you're saying Ruby Gold or Roam then?
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be getting a Ruby EXP on this one. Part of me still says that it could still happen. So Falcons are taking away the potential options for Kelra. With the Batrix taken out, I think they also need to take the Moskov. This is going to be a dive-heavy lineup. Good ban.
Spotted ban.
But Falcons will still have a glue available for them. Okay, they take out the Harith instead. Makes sense. Very fair. I think Ferds will just be stuck with a slower glue pickup or an Esmeralda. This is probably going to be a Kagura, Lo Yi that you brought up also are all going to be very good options considering they're dive heavy. I think those are my top two right now.
Kagura.
Has Farsa really fallen off?
Yeah, I was going to say, is Farsa just in a weird position now? Where you don't even get to utilize the Feathered Airstrike as much?
I think considering that Falcons could still pick up a glue, they might be hesitant to bring that up. Because that could be their EXP lane pick. Again, it's going to be slower, but then you need a little bit more tankier presence to really just hold the EXP lane. The damage profile of ONIC also doesn't look too good with handling a Uranus EXP lane. And it still might be an option.
Okay, we'll find out.
Yeah, there, Kagura.
There's the Kagura. So that seems to be the case. Little smile there from Super Friends too. But yeah, I like so far what ONIC has. I think that last pick though, especially for that gold lane, like what are this gold lane going to be? The matchup there, I think this is really going to tell us what Team Falcons has planned too, based on their last picks.
It could be Glue, Esme. You can't go Badang here if you're ONIC. You also need the gold laner. They might just have to settle for a Moskov for Super Marco if it's not going to be a gold lane Ruby. I think it is already. Oh, they're Esme as expected. Wow. Other than the Ruby, pretty much.
Pretty on point, man.
Pretty on point.
Oh, so it is Gold Lane Ruby.
Ah, okay.
So Gold Lane Ruby.
Forgot about the Gotcha.
When was the last time you saw Super Marco play Gold Lane Ruby?
I'll tell you now, maybe never.
I literally cannot recall bulletproof Super Marco playing Ruby, man.
I struggle to recall, if ever. If it happened, it was a day when I wasn't on broadcast.
It had to be one of those days, if it was the case. But
chat, call us out.
Yeah, let us know, chat. This last pick though for Gold Lane for Calra, then does he just go Moskov or a Granger?
Moskov, Granger, Bruno
perhaps,
three.
yeah.
I've been waiting for too long.
Carry.
Huh. I would think that they pick up a carry if they were playing a glue. But this also makes sense. They needed a little bit stronger damage. That's why I also suggested the Bruno, because strong, chunky crit.
Yeah.
But this time they decided to go for true damage, which also makes sense because I also wanted them to have very fast basic attack with good damage. Claude takes a while for that. Carry goes faster.
It's just another take on the Kaka combo. Carry Kaja, carry Kalia.
Oh, you're right.
Carry Kaja.
Yeah, we saw it already once today.
Kaka combo. Man, that's very fitting.
It's poetic. I'm eloquent like that.
It's kind of like it's a poem in itself.
Yeah, and based off of my reaction earlier, I'm leaning a little bit more towards ONIC drafts here because this...
The Kaka.
Kaka.
Kalia carry.
Kalia carry.
So much better for ONIC.
You can even go Kaka. Kalia carry Kagura.
If I don't hear a sound effect in this one, Mr. Dan, I don't know.
You're barking on the wrong tree.
Sorry,
this guy makes a sound
my bad.
effect.
That's supposed to be from Red Mars.
Not me. It's never been me.
Welcome
Let us
to
know what you
Mobile
guys
Legends.
think. Are we going to see a sweep here for the Super Fam, or will Team Falcons take us to a Game 3? We're jumping in to Game 2.
Okay, this is very demanding for Falcons. They need to really pull this off, because if not, Kelra is just gonna scale uncontrollably, and by the late game, they will not have the right damage profile.
Kyle Teasy looking to get a lot of damage on Brusco. Sent him home.
Good aggression and poke.
Super Prince, wow, so aggressive.
Yeah. Few tried to predict Super Prince going back a little bit earlier, but Super Prince waiting for the Abyssal Arrow to go out. Shows where he's at in terms of his mindset going up against, the pick that he was able to shine with earlier. Kelra, of course, understandably, giving Super Marco a lot of difficulty in lane.
Oh! Super Prince goes for the Umbrella Rush. Puts himself out of harm's way. That was crazy.
Yeah, he didn't even need to burn the flicker either. Yeah. So one of the things here is that we've seen so much Kagura pop up now that you're seeing some of the masters at work. But also, don't forget to buy your tickets, everybody. We got a super fan early Pumasco promo. That's our early Christmas gift for everybody. Limited time only. Promo runs shortly into September. So grab it while you can and join us here in the MPL Philippine Arena.
All right. CPU and Hogan are really trying to up the tempo. They're trying to play to show that, they've woken up. King Kong already level 4. Kyle TC just hit level 4 as well. Let's see if they're going to force an issue here.
Okay, nothing too crazy. I think this is one of the games where both lineups just want to go ahead and play into that first turtle. That's always been the focus, too, as we talked about from the Infinix Keys to Victory, in the Howl even, is that first turtle play. I'm wondering how this battle is going to be in the gold lane. Super Marco and that Ruby versus the carry. But ultimately, it's just both teams winning to that level 4 and fight into this first objective.
Ooh, chain CCs set down on the Brusco. Almost sent him home, but that's going to be enough to keep ONIC busy. Falcons secure the first turtle.
Yeah, good approach by Ogun and Few. Again, they're really upping the tempo at the center of the map so that Brusco and Super Prince spends a little bit too much time trying to clear the middle minion wave, that there's no time for them to actually help set up for King Kong to see if they can safely take the turtle or not. Falcons needs to keep this up, but again, at some point they're going to have to shift their attention away from the center of the map towards to where Kelra is. They need to get Super Marco out of lane early so they can pressure King Kong more in the jungle before minute 6.
Yeah, Brusco's not level 4 yet, so as soon as that is available, you can expect them to go ahead and at least push for a play.
Oh,
Super Prince quite low. Still holding on to that flicker too. Very confident is Super Prince, even at this low HP level.
Tsunami Slam. That's a lot of damage placed on Ogun and Few. Ogun pops the Vengeance. Surprise. A different battle spell on his Gatot Gacha, Mountain Shocker. reveals everyone. No immediate danger for Falcons. They hold their ground.
Yeah, first being able to get there means that he's dictating the tempo in the EXP lane against Kirk. And one of the reasons why we suggested the Esmeralda earlier in the draft is that it does give a lot of difficulty for the Lapu-Lapu in the laning phase, that Kirk will be falling behind in a lot of the major rotations. He might be able to lane well, but in terms of the early map presence, it might lean a little bit more towards Ferds. War Axe already built up for Super Marco, and that should be a signal. Falcons needs to make a rotation towards the top side. They cannot keep continuing to play just around the river. They need to pressure Kelra.
One of the few games here where we don't have that first blood nearing the 4-minute mark. So as both teams just go ahead and play around scaling up in the early game, this is once again one of those situations where a lot of this will be on Brusco to start with. And this is why I was saying, the Kalea eventually is going to want Kirk to go ahead and help, transition into some of that responsibility. But it's up to Brusco to set things up. Now, there is only one Purify this time around, and that's on Ferds. So for a lot of these fights, Brusco should be able to go ahead and get that Tsunami Slam down or that setup that he's looking for.
Good call there for Kelra, by Kelra for playing it safe. Missile arrow will not land. Good zone out there by First, and good info. Great! What First is doing right now is so good for Falcons.
That's a man-to-man defense by the Wild One. In comes Brusco looking for the perfect Tsunami Slam. Finds his target, setting up the retry steal for King Kong. A trade. Kyle easy for Brusco. I'll take that trade any day. And Kirk pulls in Ogwin, taken down. Nakatocha first. That's in round 3. Few gets taken out. Kelra barely alive. Ferds gets a double. The Wild One is wilding on this one. Kirk got Ferds on him. Super Marco looking to help finish the job. Short range, the remaining members of Falcons, but they're not going to take this line down.
They needed to win that trade in the post-objective team fight, because what Brusco and Kirk did there was nuts. The Tsunami Slam perfectly into the Land Shaker right at the tip of the animation to catch Kaltizi. That's why they weren't able to get that turtle. That's why Kikon was able to get that easily. They needed to, yes, win that trade, but Brusco and Kirk, goodness me, look at that. Tsunami Slam. Oh, it already happened. Oh, too bad we weren't able to catch it there in the replay. Whoa, that was a crazy play by Brusco and Kirk, but good thing Falcons were able to trade that out.
Yeah, you got to give it up to Ferds too, man. Able to hold his own, provide so much value on this Esmeralda. This might be that saving grace right now for Team Falcons to stay in this game and hopefully get a lead built up on this.
Mind you, this is still before Kelra and Brusco are online. So these pickoffs will slowly get more lethal for ONIC.
Yeah, part of that too is just, you saw a little glimpse of that when Kelra joined that fight. This carry, especially late game, is going to be devastating. So, don't want to control that, but
cheeky.
Yeah, a little steal there. And so for Team Falcons, I think their decision is, where do we go from here? Where do we set things up? Do we just focus on these objectives? The last turtle of the game's coming up here in just a bit. You can see already a lot of the focus up on this side of the map. It might break out into a fight. Whoa.
Brusco here, put into his place. Oh, sends over Ogwin. Force him to use the Vengeance. Super Fist throws out the Umbrella. Rush Umbrella free. Underneath, King Kong looking to finish the job. Gets caught by the tail end of the Mount Shaka. King Kong taken out by Kyle.
Ooh, quick reaction there by Falcons. I thought King Kong would be able to get the ultimate off in time, but yeah, Mountain Shonger took him, and then Super Marco, the Don't Run Wolf King as well, to just help lock down that Hayabusa and ensure that they get the kill. Falcons, Few and Ogwin have started off the game being aggressive, really setting the tempo, while the rest of Falcons have eased up a little bit. They are patient. First, more patient. Kyle, more patient as well.
Yeah, that really paid off to, have that setup, have that Ruby up in that time. Again, a lot of this is to go ahead and catch and stall out King Kong in those trades. So this is going to give Team Falcons a nice little lead to work with leading into that first Lord in about a minute and a half here. So for ONIC Philippines, they have enough time to go ahead and let Kelra farm up, do his thing, Super Friends 2 on this Kogua, but right now Team Falcons has control of the map. It seems to be them pushing ONIC Philippines outside of the push that they want to go for. So right now, Team Falcons, hopefully they can maintain this control. They should be able to do that, especially with Ferds leading that front, allowing Ogwin to just go ahead and jump in with the AOG as he pleases for this.
2,000 gold lead here for Falcons. Okay, Enchanted Talisman, Dreadnought into the Oracle for Ferds. They use the ultimate on him. Oh, didn't use a Tsunami Slam with the Esme.
They don't wanna. I think they know that the Purify's on. Conceal by Brusco.
Bottom side push by Falcons, opening up the map.
They're taking a lot here, and ONIC Philippines is actually not able to find much. Might be just one of those situations where they're playing the long game. You can see here, looking at the items. Yes, Kelra's holding it together against Super Marco. He's only got the 2 items. He got the DHS and the Corrosive Scythe. And over here, even for Super Friends, you know, he's only got that glowing wand.
Yeah.
So they definitely need a lot more time to scale up for this lineup to work right now.
Iconic Super Friends build, rapid boots.
Yeah.
Not just for the Forces, also for the Kagura too. Enchanted Talisman for few as well, alongside the glowing wand. 2 core items for the Selena means advantage through burst. Few really just needs to clip one person, one combo, and that should already be his job done. Yes, it would be nice if he could chain it together, but at this point, this Selena is going to do a lot of damage. I think out of everyone, Brusco needs to start the tempo with Tsunami.
He has no choice. Gets hit with the I'm offended. Gets hit the Tsunami Slam, and then Ogwin right in the middle of everyone. Defensive AOG. King Kong backline. Few gets caught with a shadow kill. That's 1. Taken down again. Falcons 2 out. ONIC are in control here. Birds cannot catch a break. His antics in that prior team fight's no longer working. Brusco engages on the Kyle Teasy. Birds looking to get some damage on the 4 here. Make that 5. King Kong secures the Lord with the help of Kelra. Mount the Shocker may be too late.
Great team fight.
Great team fight. No damage for Falcons. Super Marco going down early, and despite all of the efforts of Falcons, they still feel like they are really lacking in damage. If they have at least just one guy down, Kyle Teasy is not enough to dish out the damage that Falcons needs. While ONIC, good thing Kelder was actually able to dodge the initiation of Ogwin when that team fight was engaged on by Super Marco initially with the ultimate. Brusco then answered with a Tsunami Slam. Ogwin went straight to the back line to try and pin Kelder down with a taunt, but then he was able to get away from it, and the fact that the other members of Falcons were too far meant that Kelder was able to free hit.
Oh, the engage and the answer. Kirk gets taken down after the I'm offended, but King Kong smooth with a shadow in and out, traded for Few.
Yep, be a trade there. Still fighting for their space now for ONIC. Again, playing into this Lord. They'll get the tier 2 there, trying to work on the tier 1 in the mid and put pressure on the other side of the map. But still, Team Falcons relatively healthy and durable with this lineup. Will hold on to the tier 1 despite ONIC having that Lord to push with.
And ONIC can honestly just keep this up. They have great control of the map. Both teams still have their towers, but with how ONIC are positioned right now, it is them dictating the tempo. Falcons are going to have to play around Few getting someone with an arrow. I think Ferds needs to hold the front line now while Ogwin is actually the one.
Tsunami Slam finds Few, compromises him. Look at the side here. Kirk versus Ferds. Few for Brusco. That's another benefit trade. AOG from Ogwin. Kelra firing away Ferds.
Oh no.
Pushed him back, and look at this. King Kong going to hunting. Compromising Coyote's positioning. ONIC are calling the shots here, even with that singular trade. Falcons can't fight back, not the way they want to.
Yeah, they're pushing and pulling between ONIC Philippines, and I gotta say, yes, they're losing some, but at this point, Few doesn't have much of a choice just because King Kong can go towards that back angle and find him. So that's gonna be difficult for Few, and now for Team Falcons, they're the ones, the rest of the team has to step up and catch the right members of ONIC Philippines. But so far, I would say they're doing a relatively good job at maintaining that.
Both junglers right now have their core, 3 core items. Hunter Strike, BOD, Endless Battle Mirror. Same goes for the Gold Rainers, except, of course, it is a Gold Rain Ruby. Super Marco is going for the Winter Crown instead, so that he can survive through the initial salvo that ONIC dishes out. Maybe hope that Falcons will be able to push out and win an exchange, and then once the Winter Crown is gone, that's when ONIC are going to realize, wait a minute, they still have the Ruby. We've spent a lot already, and then Falcons will slowly win the fight through there. But with how ONIC have been playing right now, with them no longer hesitating to initiate the moment they just find someone, it looks good for them.
Ogwin with the conceal. Ferds finds the Falling Star Moon. Prince dodges
Ogwin!
it. AOG from Ogwin. Long haul. Compromise Kelra's positioning. Mountain Shocker gets ahead and taken down Brusco. Few looking to re-engage, throwing out that arrow. Ferds, the Wrath of Kelra. Kirk's gonna fall here. Kark gets taken down. 2 for 1 the trade.
A big trade, King Kong? He got the vengeance out though, so got something out of that. But I don't know, is Team Falcons without Ferns in a position to go ahead and take this Lord?
Ogre needs to get a little bit healthy, but they are playing around the Ruby Gold lane, so they should be healthy enough, but it's not going to be the easiest of takes. King Kong can still steal this away.
Oh,
Vision.
Flushed out of that wide rush. King Kong tempting fate. Kelra throwing out a wheel. Super Fringe going in. Kyle TZ secures. And King Kong gets stunned. Super Marco here. Few light wheels. And the rush umbrella switch up. The overturn. Double kill for Fringe. Taking down Kyle. Kelra down for the count. I think Falcons are happy with the outcome of this one.
Let's see if they'll be able to do something with the Lord, though, as ONIC do have 4 members over the 3 of Falcons. And it looks like ONIC will be able to push out forward. The Winter Crown was on point there for Super Marco. He was able to catch out the Hayabusa of King Kong perfectly with the I'm Offended. I believe King Kong was not able to get his Retribution off in time. It was just that they were able to eventually take him down because he was put into an angle wherein he was dragged into the pit by Super Marco. And then eventually, of course, we saw ONIC coming back into that fight. It was a good thing for the side of Falcons that Kyle TZ was able to eventually secure the kill there onto Kelra, led by Few being able to hit the Abyssal Arrow and the burst damage onto that carry. It was Kyle TZ who finished it off. But yes, as we see the final scenario of it all, ONIC are in the lead and they can continue to push down the middle.
Yeah, this is... this guy's posted up, by the way, hoping for Team Falcons to be able to go ahead and play into this, but...
He's locked in.
He's locked in, man.
His hope is locked in.
Hey, the whole Team Falcons out there. The whole Falcons, the whole nest is locked in right now. They're going to be the ones troubleshooting, of course, for this, and hopefully they can get that sorted out because... Off of that, like I feel like their team fighting in these objectives, they're pretty good. It's just like, I don't know if they're lacking some of the range or what's happening.
I don't think you can classify it as just team fighting. They're team fights within the same engagement.
Yeah.
Because 3 or 4 times now in a row, there have been 2 fronts. One that starts in the back line. Again, how Ogwin got there, I don't know. He dove in that deep.
Yeah.
And then you have Kirk's entry this whole way in.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of understand the dynamics of these two. Not to mention where Kelra puts himself. Here in the last engagement, Kelra put himself a little too forward.
Maybe that's the struggle with the carry, though, too. You know?
Okay.
Some of the range, but that Lord will make its way down bot.
Yeah, ONIC respecting that the timers on Kyle TZ and Super Marco might be a little bit too close to call for the rest of ONIC to just all group up together and continue to put the pressure on Falcons. They'll allow this to push off in a little bit of a safer area, a little bit closer to their base. They should still be able to complete the charge, though. The minion waves in the mid aren't that completely healthy. I don't think Falcons will have enough time to actually take the tower in mid. Good fight by ONIC.
Brusco finds one. Ferds looking at disincentivize this fight. Ferds taking way too much damage. Oh no, I don't know if he'll survive this, Kirk. He dodges it, sidesteps that bravest fighter.
Look at King Kong.
King Kong looking for the flank. Super Prince closing off these gaps as well. I think the Super Fam have let off.
Yeah, okay. I thought he was just going to go for maybe a sandwich maneuver there, but they get Ogwin. They deal with that Lord. So ONIC Philippines, they'll be happy with that. And it just shows, again, that Team Falcons, you know, even with that push into the base, they don't get much out of it. So eventually they find themselves in the same position where they're going to have to fight for the Lord. But I would expect ONIC Philippines to do what Brusco's been doing. He might just go for a Tsunami Slam and just get a pick off if they can.
Yeah, but clearly they're in a much healthier team fighting set to just tell Brusco, dude, whoever you see first, go ahead, and we'll do our best to just win it out. They are, again, playing around the Lapu-Lapu that could eventually end up becoming the frontliner and dish out damage as well to set up for the eventual entry of King Kong, Super Prince, and Kelra into the fight. While for Falcons, again, considering that they're playing around the Ruby Gold lane, who is utilizing a Winter Crown as part of the combination, it isn't going to be as easy to fight for Falcons. The thing is, though, Fuse damage has been the X factor here. Good conceal, and they have the vision.
Ferds looking for that Falling Star Moon, catches Super Prince, goes for the cleanse. No one home. ONIC dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, so no conceal right now. 20 seconds on that Lord. ONIC Philippines just going to go ahead and play this macro game. Defensive items coming into play too. So now Keller's got his Wind of Nature available. Super Friends has some extra shield and movement speed to work with now too. And there you go. Even the Sea Halberd being picked up by King Kong.
Trying to look at the items here to see if Ferds already has a blade armor. I don't think so. They go for the BFB Oracle Dreadnought. Alright, continue playing the map. Yeah, okay, it's a Winter Crown for Ferds. Okay, interesting. Roam Boots all aside so that they could potentially get the bonus. One of the EXP so that Ogwin can catch up. Good start here for ONIC for this Lord.
Yep, half health on this one. Kelmer will go ahead and continue it on. Falcons, we'll see what they do with this. If they plan to conceal again.
In comes the Tsunami Slam. Super Marco is out of the equation. In comes Kirk and the rest of the Super Fam. Few put down about 1 HP. Now Ogwin gets popped here. His immortality able to save him. AOG out, but first falls. And oh my god, how did Bruce go by Few? Made a beeline for the Roamer.
Oh
Push
no.
it through tier 2. They can smell blood in the water.
Are they going to push it in? They know they have an advantage.
Oh, can Kyle and Ogwin defend? They've got a big minion wave coming through. King Kong from the back, Mountain Shocker, Busco and Ogwin pop their immortalities. There's still the siege minion. It's just Kyle. The base gets taken down. ONIC with a sweep.
The Super Fam will make it happen in a sweep. And the Falcons still looking for flight.
What a slip up by Falcons. And what killer mentality by ONIC to read the situation perfectly. Once Super Marco is down, that is majority of the team fight capability of Falcons out. ONIC knew it, ONIC could smell it, and they did not hesitate to grab the win.
You do not interrupt your opponent when they are making a mistake. A phrase made popular by Napoleon Bonaparte. ONIC read into it and said, hey, aren't they a little too forward?
Yeah.
Aren't they scattered? We took out Marco, we should just go.
Man, it's tough. Again, you know, high fives all around here between the two teams, but you can just see the struggle. You know, the almost, even Team Falcons themselves, as they take the bow here, wondering what do they need to do to bring things back together in fighting form and flying form from what we've seen in them from the past here. Because I gotta say, even Ferds, like Ferds was impressive. Like he was able to play really well through this series, but even so, it wasn't enough to get them a victory here. So clearly more work is needed to be done for Team Falcons. And congratulations here to ONIC Philippines on the sweep. We're gonna throw it over on stage with them, Hans and Odin, for our winners interview.
Sonics, I want to hear you. What time is it? Your winners, ONIC Philippines! What a moment from the boys. It was a lead ng Team Falcons noong game number 2, Odin, but they didn't give up and they got the sweep to end the day.
Mukhang mas malakas ang pagbabalik ng ONIC Philippines. And right now, I want to talk to Coach. Why not? Coach! Maganda ang resulta ngayon ng inyong laban. Pero we never had the chance to ask you this question from last week. Kasi alam natin na merong halo-halong reaksyon yung last week na pick nyo na CC. And ano yung masasabi mo doon na meron pa ba kaming makikita na mga bagong picks from your team?
Pagsisisi.
Aray.
Pagsisisi. Pero yung moving forward, meron pa ba kayong mga surprises na hinihanda para sa amin?
Tigilan muna natin yung mga kalokohan, why not? Yan yung sinasabi ko sa sarili ko lang.
Note to self,
So yun ang pep talk mo sa sarili mo, Coach? Okay. I like it. At least, di ba? Ngayon,
Oo, tinanggap.
stick sila with what they know, stick sila with what they have. Let's stick with the top rankings as of the moment. Coach, why not? Para sa'yo, if you guys, aside from this team that we have right here, who do you think is at the first seed ng power rankings mo? And why?
RORA.
Aurora. Alright, care to explain why?
I think sila yung may pinakamagandang early game ngayon. And most ng mga Filipino teams
malakas mag-ride ng momentum pagka nakakuha ng magandang early. And yun nga, I think lahat ng mga explainers kailangan tignan si Edward.
Oh.
Alam mo, nabanggit nga yan ni Sanford kamakailan lang na yung XP standard daw is si Edward. Thus, Coach Wynat also approving of it. Paano naman yung mage standard?
Oo nga eh. Parang lagi natin napapag-usapan may gold, merong XP. Pero let's talk to Super Friends.
Let's talk about the face card.
Face card ka daw ng ONIC Philippines ngayon. Pero friends, sino sa tingin mo sa lahat ng mid laners ngayon yung pwedeng matawag na mage standard or mid lane standard? Is that you?
Si Hate po.
Si Hate pa din.
Si Hate pa rin. Dito nananahimik yung tao.
Oh, ikaw ang naituro, Hate.
Para sa'yo ba, sino?
Ikaw.
Mid laner ka ba, Hans?
Hindi.
Hindi.
Pero friends, okay, speaking wise, kasi alam naman natin si Hate ang pinakamalakas na mid laner sa buong mundo. Pero kung meron pang isa na ngayon ay naglalaro, aside from you, who do you think is the top one in terms of the mage?
Sanji.
Si Sanji. Bakit si Sanji?
Champion eh.
Champion! Alam mo, bumabalik ka na naman dun sa hindi ka masyadong nagsasalita. Pero ito, pagsasalitain kita ulit kasi maraming Sonics ang sumuporta sa inyo lahat. Nasaan ang Sonics? I love the energy. Friends, anong masasabi mo sa lahat ng Sonics na nagpunta dito at sa lahat na sumusuporta sa inyo?
Sa lahat ng pumunta dito at nanood sa amin, thank you sa suporta. Abangan nyo kami bukas.
There we finally have it. Once again, your winners, ONIC Philippines!
You may now take your bow.
Just another win. Odin again sticking with what they know. Sipin mo, nagpapawis lang kami nung isang araw tapos ngayon, back to the usual sila ngayon.
Yan nga ang napanood natin sa ONIC Philippines. Maganda ang pag-bounce back nila with this match at bukas ay aabangon ulit natin sila for day 2. And gusto ko malaman, ano pa nga bang masasabi ng ating mga casters?
Will it be basics again? We're about to find out. Casters, throwing it to you.
Hey, that's how winners exit the stage, man.
With great confusion.
The perfect shot at the end there, too, of Hayes there at the end.
Should I go? What's my side again?
It started with Super Friends by taking the mic, and they're like, just go.
Take the mic. Then one side of the ONIC boys going one side of the other.
So here we go. Game 2 MVP. Brusco again on the Kalea, 2-4-7. But it's more so just the fact that you give Kalea to Brusco, man. He's going to be making plays and making them work.
This is an MVP nod, 2 games in the making, a series-wide impact that Brusco gave for his team.
In that final sequence there, it was actually Super Marco who initiated as the Ruby. Flicker ultimate once he saw Brusco, but then once the animation was done, Brusco just easily used the second skill. And then eventually Tsunami Slam, chain crowd controlling Super Marco. He could not get out, he gets bursted down, and that is already team fight won by ONIC. And then for the rest of the game, of course, it was just Brusco starting things off, maximizing the jumps that he would get. This is what Kalea really just brings to the table. Just when you think a team is down and out for a team fight, suddenly crowd control comes through, a little bit of healing just to give them a little bit more time to deal more damage. Yes, it wasn't just this game, it was the entire series for Brusco on this Kalea.
Yeah, I love to see it. Just because, again, for our roamers there, you know, they've got to be the ones to go ahead and set things up for a lot of the times and, throughout the game. Yeah, and that was the thing. I was also wondering, you know, man, it was unfortunate to see where Super Marco puts himself in that position because it's almost like he had to though, because it's like who are you going to use to pull and make something happen? Otherwise, who else is going to do it there? I don't, you know, maybe they were just in the position where I don't know. Team Falcons is making mistakes from series to series to series. That's what's happening. And I don't know. I actually don't have the answer for Team Falcons on how they can fix it. I think that's something that they have to obviously figure out for themselves as they approach the next series that they have.
Major slip-up aside, this was a better game for Falcons than Game 1.
Yeah. Eventually, they were the ones able to take the lead. They were able to win that crucial Lord, of course. And even though ONIC Philippines were winning some of the post-objective team fights, there was a world where you can see, yeah, it looks like Falcons will be able to eke this out, force it out into a game number 3. But then, like, that error was so glaring. In that scenario, the gold laner, who is essentially at this point another EXP laner, and the roamer talk. If that was Falcons' call for Super Marco to just, hey Marco, can you just use the ultimate on the Kalea? At that point, Ogwin would have already released the AOG. So that once you catch the Kalea, even if Brusco would be able to use the Tidal Strike, the first usage of the Tidal Strike where it's just like, where it's the little slam forward dash.
Yeah.
Ogwin's already using the AOG. The other members of ONIC can't answer. The answer will be delayed. Ogwin pops his Vengeance. Ogwin tanks damage. Ferds comes in. Kaltizi comes in. Few comes in. Super Marco survives the initial salvo instead of getting blasted right away. That did not happen at all. This is a Golden Ruby that is still mostly damaged. Even with the Winter Crown, once you get crowd control stunned, bursted, you are not going to get out of there and you're not going to be able to deal damage. The highest damage dealer for Falcons wasn't even the jungler or the gold laner or the mid laner. It was Ferds on that Esmeralda. Ferds wasn't also ready for that sequence as well. So clearly, the call for Super Marco, whether it was by him or it was told to him to do it, was not at the right time.
And it's just unfortunate because, you know, when you have a mistake like that or something like that happens in the game and it turns it completely in favor of the opposing team to eventually a game win, you know, that's only something you can look back on and hope that you can fix it for your next match. And that's something that Team Falcons, I feel like, has been dealing with for the past couple weeks now. But like you guys mentioned, this was a better game for them, game 2, than what we saw in game 1. But nonetheless, ONIC Philippines, they've also, you know, back on when they had the initial struggles through the start of the season, I think they've figured it out. They've spent a lot of times going ahead and cleaning up their rotations, cleaning up that decision making, and getting to this point where now they're having these, you know, decisive sweeps.
One of the main strengths that ONIC has had ever since they built this roster in Season 14 is their killer instinct. The fact that they know when they're ahead and the fact that they know how to pick fights, these are rarely the things that ONIC PH know how to do wrong or make mistakes with. So I'm glad to see that here, when they saw that one error in Falcons' ways, when they saw Marco come in, it just took half a second, maybe less, and said,
it was like a snap.
That's it. Let's go.
Yeah, they jumped on it so quick. And then they could easily do that because they were in the perfect position for it. That even if, other side, if we say it was Brusco who initiated it, I still think they would have won that team fight. Because at that moment, they were in a much better position to just be able to jump in real quick in a snap and say, all right, we win this.
Yeah. All right, we own this.
It's a different country.
Sorry, my bad. Different country. But it's ONIC, you know? Sometimes I get them mixed up. But
ONIC is ONIC.
ONIC is ONIC. But yeah, this is the Super Fam, and it's been good to see them make the adjustments themselves, because I think a lot of people, even in the first week and going in forward, they were wondering what kind of what was going on with ONIC, and now I feel like they've answered that. So I did say earlier on that I like to go ahead and hear ONIC's mic checks, you know? Like, I like to go ahead and listen to how they make the calls, how they make the things happen, and especially with that match. So hopefully we get to see that in this, because right now we're going to go ahead and throw it over to the mic check with ONIC Philippines.
Promise, kaya ko. Free shadow ko. Flicker na. Bumot ka. Bumarko na rin. Vengeance. Doon lang nag-ulti. Yes. Patay sali. Okay. Walang barko. Win. May bot pa ako. Ganun lang yun. Alam ko flicker siya. Tapos retry niya. Hero muna, hero. Pwede rin. Gemits. Stun ka pa. May stun ka. Barka. Alma. Pag kayo papapatay Nice buy!
Great to hear the Infinix mic check there, of course, for ONIC Philippines. Very clean.
Yeah.
I learned 2 things. Number 1, they call Brusco Kuya Mitz.
Yeah.
It's like elder brother Mitz.
Yeah.
And then number 2 is they watch out very clearly, not for the I'm offended, not for the arrows, but for the Mountain Shocker stun.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Wala nang barko. The ship is gone. The ship is
gone.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really them acknowledging that, again, that would break the tempo really well. It's great. Even though it sounded kind of hectic, you could pick out very clearly who was speaking and what the call was.
Yeah.
And it was It's great hearing.
It was, and right now that's got themselves up to rank number 1. Here, rank 1 spot for ONIC right now and for the Infinix standings. And so this, as we close out day 1 here, shook things up a little bit. You know, Twisted Minds now sitting at 3.
Season 14 all over again. We're back to the start of the new era in the middle of the new era.
Start of the new era, middle of the era. Throwing it back to the Brawl era. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of brawly. Let's say this meta.
Bottom hasn't changed though.
Yeah.
It's going from bad to worse.
TNC AP Brandon Falcons are going to need to turn things around. Meanwhile, in the Fancy Kalaban standings, even the Mines are still on a run.
5-0, man.
Congratulations to them.
Who's going to stop the Mines fan base?
Are they the same players season in, season out, or are they different fans?
No, they shuffle.
They shuffle?
Yeah, but
every week?
Yeah, the communities talk about like, hey, who's going to play?
Which is more impressive because it means even as they shuffle, they still maintain a high level of MLBB.
Yeah, they're just a consistently good team. They're a consistently strong MLBB playing fan base.
They're strong minds.
Strong bodies.
Strong
They got good fingers.
mind, body, and spirit. Something like that.
Might be a little bit, yes. I'll just, yes.
Something along those lines. I don't know, any final thoughts for today's matches as we finished day 1 here for week 3?
It's just the beginning of week 3. Something tells me we're in for more surprises as the weekend goes.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be the last final weekend of big surprise picks. Hopefully we get to see a lot more because once we get to the midpoint of the season and with the playoffs shadow starting to loom ever bigger over these teams, things are going to start to mellow out.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that, you know, already we're getting to that point where we're nearly halfway through the regular season.
Yeah.
Of course, we still have 2 more days here for week 3, but week 4 isn't too far away. And we always kind of give a lot of our teams here kind of the benefit of the doubt. You know, first week, maybe 2. So some of these teams are really going to have to get it together. Thank you so much for joining us here at the English Desk. It's us, the Wee Bear Bros. Let's go ahead and close it out with the Howl.
And what a comeback mula dun sa side ng ONIC Philippines, hindi sa game mismo, pero dun sa kanilang return into form. Marami na nagsasabi na nagbabalik na nga sa Season 14 form ang ONIC Philippines. Ako naman na masasabi ko si King Kong mismo yung nagbabalik sa kanyang ONIC Season 14 form dahil yung kanyang assassin gameplay ay talaga namang isang masterpiece. Kailangan na siguro ding aralin to ng mga teams dahil so far, ang ikinatalo lang ng side ng ONIC Philippines ay yung Yisun Shin na hindi naman talaga fully assassin gameplay para sa side ni King Kong. So yan ang isang nagiging strength ng ONIC Philippines at idagdag mo pa yung kay Brusco na ngayon kapag gumagamit ng mga catch heroes, talaga naman nagbibigay ng advantage para sa ONIC Philippines. They feel like very comfortable sa kanilang playstyle kapag nakakuha ng catch si Brusco at nakakuha ng assassin naman si King Kong. However, para sa side ng Team Falcons, nandito na tayo sa point na kailangan na talaga nilang mag-isip-isip, lalong-lalo na sa kanilang formation. Doon sa ating keys to victory, na-mention yung box na kailangan ayusin dito ng Team Falcons. And unfortunately, na-expose na naman yan ng side ng ONIC Philippines, especially with this assassin gameplay. It's very clear that Team Falcons are disoriented ngayon pagdating sa mga team fights at ito yung kailangan nilang ayusin. Start from that and maybe they can mount their comeback. That is Falcons going up against side of ONIC Philippines na ngayon ay nasa top na ng standings, and that has been our series for today. Maraming salamat po, pero bago tayo malis, ibabato muna natin ito sa ating mga host, Hans and Claudine.
And right after today, we acknowledge once more the eras of the league.
That's right, because sa match 1 pa lamang ay nasaksihan na natin ang players turned coaches from the Brawl era with Auroras going home with the victory.
At ang pangalawang serye naman natin ay nagtagpo ang Sonics and ang Falcons, and it was the spikes of ONIC Philippines that have proven to be sharper, and we wish nothing but the best para naman sa Team Falcons as they are currently on losing slump.
Day 1 pa lamang at marami na tayong aksyon na nasaksihan, pero bukas ay mas marami tayong matutunghayan na labanan because it's a triple header for Saturday.
Or more likely, Super Fan Saturday. Kaya mas maraming laban at mas marami din sigurado ang aantabay sa lahat ng aksyon na mangyayari bukas. Muli, ako si Hans Galeria.
And this is your very own Odin. Sama-sama tayo muli bukas dito lamang sa
MPL Philippines Season 16!
Malakas Pilipinas, malakas kahit anong lane we become the monsters. Malakas Pilipinas, malakas face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Look at us to the top, no ifs, no buts, winning any game para to sa PINAS. Di mo matitinag aming boses sa new level. Nasa kalye man o mobile, you know I become a legend. Listen, open fire, we unite, we winners. But with pressure, like diamonds are made of. Switching the lane na parang gera, HP Racing made a setup. Pagkakatang buhat ni Hilda, full down SS parang Laila. Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas, yeah. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Pag nagsama-sama, just imagine what we can achieve. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Giving 100 on my all, cause we just cannot be defeated. We are unstoppable, immune and invulnerable. Ready ang equipment, lahat frozen, mala, crowd control. Pakita on the jab, east to the southeast. Taas ang matawag, proud and loud, cause every enemy we devour. Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas, yeah. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas kahit anong monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars.